Can this be a real thing? Can I?
far more complicated than me deciding what to have from Boston Pizza for dinner.
Poor press thing. I blame homophobia.
Thank you very much. That deer was homophobic, just so you know.
Fucking homophobic deer.
That's what happened there. Yeah, it was Bambi, and he's become woke and homophobic. So I saw him in the parade last year. So
he cut off his hand.
Anyway. Oh God, that's terrible.
So,
it's us. It's us.
Yep. Are Jen and Meg not coming?
Well, I don't know if you've seen. I'm so sorry, you guys. Let me just recap with Ultra real quick. There is an awful lot going on in Glendale right now. They've been filming it. A lot of the Antifa has actually started attacking the parents, and that's where the girls are right now. So I don't know if they're going to make it. Yeah. So it was on Andy. How do you say his last name?
No. Yeah.
No, Andy. No. Yeah. It was on his. He'd been tweeting it out what was happening. So I know the girls are there. So just hoping that they're okay and everybody's all right. And fuck Antifa, and away we go.
Well, here we are.
So what's happening? I wasn't aware that there was something going on.
Oh yeah. Go ahead, Ultra.
No, I have no idea. So you fill me in. I was going to say start, okay. But yeah, let's get this conversation out of the way.
Okay. So what happened was a couple weeks ago, there was a child who was scolded by someone in her school for not using pronouns of the right gender identity or something like that, right? So the girls actually went down as Gays Against Groomers, and they spoke up with a lot of parents, and it was it was great. It was wonderful to see. And so now they've gone back again because they're doing a follow-up. This child's supposed to be, I don't know what's happening, expelled or in a lot of trouble for not doing it. But the child's also, is it autistic? I can't remember. And so anyway, it's just, I can't remember. Don't quote me on that, guys. But anyway, so they're back again with even more parents to talk to the school board again. And this time Antifa's there. So.
Okay, cool. Thanks. I had no idea. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I love those girls. Yeah, they're awesome.
They're totally amazing. They're really good. They're fighting like crazy. Okay, so shall we begin? Everybody's got their tea. I've got my bottle of Dr. Pepper. I'm good to go. What were you going to say, Lois?
I was going to say, I don't need tea. Thank you.
Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. LGBT versus MAID, when the healthcare system leaves you no options. Tonight, we're joined by two very special guests. And yes, this space is being recorded. Did you see that, everybody? I hit the record button this time. We have two very, very special guests. We have Lois, who is... Lois, why don't you introduce yourself? I want you to tell.
Oh, you didn't want to say sterilized Indian?
I don't want it. You know, girl.
Lois is my favorite. Lois is my favorite tranny.
Oh my God, you finally said it.
Lois, when I asked how would you like me to word sort of your bio in the poster, you went sterilized Indian bitch. I'm like, oh my.
You can't get realer than Lois. Go ahead, Lois.
I know, so I'm a sterilized First Nations person of Treaty 6. That's within Alberta. I'm northeast of Edmonton, about 2 hours. And I'm also a postdoc transsexual of 14 years. So I transitioned before the shit hit the fan.
Excellent. Thank you very, very much. Eva, why don't you introduce yourself and let them all know who you are?
All right. Well, I'm Eva. I'm Canada's preeminent lesbian. That title was bestowed on me by my friend Amy Ham. And I live in Coterie, so Lois and I unfortunately are several hours apart, but we have had a chance to meet a couple times, which was awesome. And I'm just a writer and a Twitterer.
A very good Twitterer as well. Lois is very outspoken and very, very, I don't know if you all saw her video that she had just done. It was fucking fantastic, excuse my language, but it was amazing. And the amount of hits and views. How many views did you get on that?
Almost 400,000.
Exactly. And Eva is not just a writer, she's a very good writer, and she is very vocal. And as you can see by the amount of likes on her, it was freaking amazing. So Yeah, she speaks from the heart, and it's really, really helping. And of course, there's this guy sitting next to me named Ultra Dad. Why don't you let everybody know who you are? Oh, he's decided to go to the bathroom.
No, I was retweeting the room to try and get some visibility.
Oh, sorry.
So, yep, I am your biker guy who almost hit a deer today and had a shattered dip tin cut my ass. Biker lifestyle. Yep. It's just Jack and myself and our little coterie of friends. We are gay, lesbian, and transsexual individuals who are tired of the LGBTQAI++. I'm going to start using it as my password for secure banking. If the acronym gets any longer, we are tired of the ideology. We are tired of how it is affecting our society. We're tired of how it's affecting us. And we are most certainly concerned for the welfare and well-being of children in this day and age. So this is why we have these spaces. And so we are going to be talking with Lois and Ava tonight. And, one of the most unfortunate things that Lois has told us about is that she has considered medically assisted suicide due to a lack of care after being post-op. And it really drives home the danger of these surgeries. And the sad part is so many of these children are getting them unnecessarily. So folks, how we're going to run the room is we're going to have a round the table discussion for about afterwards. We will take questions. So please hold your questions when we get to them. And also, folks, if you wouldn't mind, please go ahead and see that little purple bubble down at the bottom, or you may have a feather down there. Please go ahead, click that, retweet the room, get visibility. We'd like to get more people in here and get the message heard. So if you could do that for us, it'd be a phenomenal favor. So, Jack.
So I'm Jack Daniels. It's not my real name, but I have a little small merry gaggle of drag queens trying to dox me at the moment. So I'm your resident loudmouth from Calgary, Alberta. I'm also the chapter lead for Gays Against Groomers here. And I'm in here to host along with Ultra and the other coterie. And if you guys want to tweet out the room, get some more people in here, that'd be fantastic. We may be joined this evening by Buck Angel, who might stop by. I don't have a feather at the bottom of my screen, Ultra. I have a purple bubble. Does anybody else have a feather? No? Yeah, okay, me neither.
No, just a bubble.
Yeah, just a bubble. Do you have a feather there, Lois? I only have a bubble.
I only have a bubble.
Okay, then Ultra's crazy. So, all right, let's start at the beginning. What happened? Lois? What's happened and what's going on? Because a lot of the people are curious about that. If you want to share with us.
So where do I start? Like the end of my transition, like in 2009, or now?
Let's start now and go back.
Okay, so now I'm just waiting on the second assessor. I have an appointment with her next week to do follow-up and see where she stands with what she knows from the visit in Calgary, But I have since talked to the director of MAID for Edmonton and North Zone. She removed the second assessor from my case because I found her to be inappropriate, especially with the comments that she was making towards me about moving from the reserve to an urban populated area. So I made an official complaint.
Good. And why? So she had said that to you. Why would she even say that to you?
I have no idea, and that's what the question I raised is how come she said that to me, and it's like, well, and I told the director and also the patient's relations nurse, I'm like, it doesn't make sense. If I were to move to Edmonton, I would still have to find a family doctor and be referred to special programs. I'm like, it doesn't make sense.
100%. That makes no sense. Okay, so what made you want to? So the problems that you were having, the medical problems that you were having, what are those?
Okay, so the medical problems that I'm having currently is extreme soreness when I'm dilating, and this pressure. I I have pressure down there. I don't know how to explain it. It just feels like things are going to want to fall out.
Oh, I understand. Okay. And so you've been seeing the doctor. You've been trying to get them to at least acknowledge this, and then the most that they've given you is a numbing cream. Is that right? Like they're not really addressing it. They're putting a Band-Aid on the situation.
Exactly. It's the medication is lidocaine.
Which
that's it. Just as numbing cream.
That's a numbing cream. That won't help with anything. So when did you start noticing that this was happening? Like when did you notice that, okay, something's wrong? Like something is wrong here.
Well, something was always wrong from the beginning.
Okay.
So there was always that pressure. So I'm like, oh, well, it's surgery, so I'm going to feel pressure. And then, like, when I was healing, it still hurt to dilate. Like, again, I was healing, but then fast forward to now, it's like, okay, why am I still sore? Like, why does it still hurt? It's like question mark.
Yeah. How many years has this been?
It's been 14 years.
14 years of this pain and this uncomfortable feeling, right?
Yeah. And no, like, see, we never talked about that. Nobody warned me about this. There was no aftercare. So it's like, okay, you got your surgery, go home, go heal, and integrate into society as yourself. Like, that's how it was supposed to be back then. And now it's like, okay, well, I need medical care, and there's nothing.
Okay, so you've been to a couple of different hospitals. The Lois Hole Center for Women. Is that what it's called? The Center for Women? I can't remember.
Which is just Lois Hole Women's Hospital.
Okay, and even they have said, "Oh, there's nothing we can do," and nobody's. Go ahead.
No, I was just referred to the head gynecologist there, and it was just a telehealth phone call, and that was it. I've never met anyone from that team.
So they didn't even see you?
No. And it's been 2 years. So.
And how many calls have you had? Just like one?
I had one from her, Dr. Kathy Flood.
Yeah.
And then, so when I started MAID, that was an option that they were looking into, was to get me referred back to her. And I'm like, no, I don't ever want to see her. I don't want to be in a vulnerable situation with her, especially if she's reclassifying my sexual orientation.
Yeah.
What gives her that right? And it's extremely homophobic.
That's, holy cow. So when did, okay, now I gotta ask you, when did you think MAID come into the picture? When did you go, okay, that's it, I've had enough? I just so everybody understands why that conclusion was come to by you, if you don't mind answering that. But yeah, you know.
It was last year, so it was around November until when I spoke about it in January.
Yeah.
We're just so intense with everything, just from having problems down there and having memory problems, like being diagnosed with confusional migraines.
Oh, wow.
Every little thing, like, it just added up. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I can't anymore. And especially with the pandemic, it really put stuff into perspective. Like, everyone was scared of COVID. Like, oh, well, if you get it, you're going to land up in the hospital and intubated. I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, that was scary. That was a scary thought.
Yeah.
Because the media was just pushing that down our throats. Like, if you get it, you're going to die.
Yeah, I remember that. That was...
And then, well, then I'm like, okay, well, so I had a serious conversation with my family. I'm like, if I get sick, like what the news is saying, I'm like, I don't want to be tubed. And I don't want oxygen. Just let me go. Mm-hmm. And they're like, why? I'm like, because I need to dilate. Mm-hmm. I have to dilate weekly in order to have this thing open. Mm-hmm. The canal open, or it's going to collapse. And nor do I want a nurse to have to do that for me if I'm unable to. So now I have this whole, the designated, what is a do not resuscitate order, if you will.
Right.
All of that medical care is goals of care designation. So I have that
Okay.
to ensure that if I'm unable to speak for myself, just let me go.
Just let you go. Right.
Yeah.
Eva, you're one of her great friends, buddies. How does this in Lois's fight? How have you? How's it affected? What am I trying to say here? Is you know what I'm trying to say, right?
Like how it's affected me, or how I've
how it's affected you, how you're dealt with it, how to show her support. I mean, I only met Lois recently, and I already love her, right? I think like she's fantastic, and she knows some of the same people I do. So I'm already thinking of things to help. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I mean, I think because Lois, I think you told me about this quite a long time before you announced it to people. And I guess I had really strange feelings about it because we hadn't even met yet, but we were very close. We talked like every day. We were getting closer and closer because we connected on Twitter back in like late 2019, I think it was. We did lose touch there for a while because I left Twitter for a year, and so we couldn't find. I tried to look for you, but I couldn't find you. But I came back and we started talking again, and you had brought this up one day, and I was just like, "What? Don't do that." I don't think I realized how serious you were. But since I did realize you were quite serious, I think my main goal has been to, enjoy whatever time we have. Mainly, like, of course, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't sad. But first, my goal was to at least meet in person, which we did, which was great. So the first time we met was back in March, and Lois was only in town for like a really short while, but we had a really good time. And then she came back in April to see a doctor here, which maybe talk more about later. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's kind of been my focus. Like, of course, it's always in the back of my mind. We did that Benjamin Boyce interview together, which was kind of the first time I really, because we hadn't talked about it much. Like I said, I was more focused on just kind of being there as a friend. I always had it in the back of my mind. One day I'm just going to talk Lois out of this. Like one day we're just going to meet up in person and I'll just like make my plea and like she's going to not do it. But I think slowly over time it's dawned on me that like I don't have that level of control over you, and I shouldn't. So I think what I've been thinking is, well, hopefully I can show you a reason to stick around. But if not, it's not something that I would take personally or be upset at you about. So that's kind of been my perspective on this. And just right now, I've just been really, really glad that we've actually gotten to meet in person and hang out and just know each other even better. That's kind of been my focus.
Well, I'm sorry. I love you. Go ahead, Ultra. What are you putting your hand up for?
Just talk.
I don't want to talk over anyone, but one thing, Lois, that really stabs at my heart, and I'm with Ava. Like I'm already practically in love with you and don't want to see you go, but what she just said, 200%. Hopefully, we can give you reasons to hang around with us. And it really breaks my heart that you were, because I've heard your story and how you have been passed around from person to person to person, and no one knows what to do for you or how to help you. And this really drives home to me. And I'd really like the audience to know that people, when they transition, there is a lot of risk involved. There is a lot of complications. And it's absolutely terrifying knowing that all these young people are taking those risks without even knowing the consequences. And they're being told, oh, these things are reversible. Oh, it's no problem at all. And they are not told about the complications or the long-term effects or any aftercare. And Duchess, I believe you told me that something along the lines of they won't even help you because of the woke agenda. They don't want to be the one to, make the announcement. And so they just kind of pass you off, you told me, from the next doctor to the next doctor, hoping that, just to get you out of the office.
Yeah, it's a lot of like me being passed around from doctor to doctor. They honestly don't know what the hell they're doing. And most of the time they're just focusing on my pronouns. And Eva could attest to this because she was in my appointment, and that doctor, it was literally surface level examination, 5 minutes, and she was more concerned about my pronouns.
Yeah, I was going to describe that. You said surface level. I was going to say it was so shallow. It was so like you came all that way to see her, and she was supposed to be some specialist or something. And I had a bit of sympathy because I'm just thinking to myself, well, what is she supposed to do? But that made me kind of angrier at the whole system and the whole situation, that you came all that way and she kind of examined you for 5 minutes, spent more time asking about pronouns. She kept like pushing that issue because you didn't fill in the section on the form about pronouns. So she asked again. And then it kind of just said, okay, I'll give you some numbing cream. It's like, I sort of understand her predicament, but I just want to kind of almost shake her and be like, don't you see what you're involved in here? You can't offer any real help. So that was quite frustrating, but I'm glad I was able to accompany you and be there for you with that.
So go ahead, Lois. I'm so sorry.
Oh, so Eva, what were my pronouns that day?
I believe you said another dead Indian, and I think she was quite shocked.
Okay, I love you. But at the same time, I'm like, so she was more concerned about what your pronouns were. Just like, what does that have to do with anything? Like, you're medically, you need, so you would like some help medically, right? And she wanted to know what your pronouns were. I'm really proud of you for saying that back to her, though.
Well, for serious, it's like, okay, why do my pronouns matter when it's one-on-one?
Yeah.
And like, I'm not looking for gender affirming care. I'm looking for actual medical advice and treatment.
And that's the thing. So sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say that's a really great way to put it. You're not looking for gender affirming care, but it seems like that is more what we're wanting to provide you with gender affirming care. Just a great point.
That's utterly ridiculous. We're just joined now. Dex on the right have joined us. That's our girls. I just want to say hi to them real quick. Can you guys hear us? Can you speak? Are you okay? Jen, Meg?
Blink twice if Antifa has taken you hostage.
I don't know if they can blink. I know that they were having some connections problems. Sorry, everybody. Just wanted to see if they were okay. If you girls can hear us, let us know when you can. Okay, so back to it. Okay, so explain to everybody what gender affirming care is. Anybody on the panel, go ahead and explain what gender affirming care is.
A whole bunch of horseshit.
Yes. So gender affirming care, from what I understand, is that they're okay, and this is the part where they offered it to children and all that sort of stuff. But gender affirming care is when they affirm what you believe and all that sort of stuff. And anyway, it's not at all what Lois is seeking. Lois is actually seeking help, medical help. That's all, and it doesn't seem like they can give it to her. Is that correct? Or go ahead, Eva.
Yeah, well, I was just going to add that gender affirming care, like all it is about validation, giving the patient what they want. It's really turning the medical system in, customer is always right type of model. I really think just in a broad overview, like all the gender affirming care stuff is really just going more towards just like, give me what I want and that's it. There's no oversight. There's no psychological care. And so that's why it really fails people. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a big difference between what's happening now with gender affirming care and how quickly you can get it, compared to back when you went through your surgeries and everything, right, Lois? Like it was a big process. I mean, I had a couple of friends that went through it, and it was more than just being able to walk in and say hi. I want to be a girl. Is that correct?
Exactly. I had to see a psychiatrist in order to be diagnosed with gender identity disorder. That's when it was considered a mental disorder back in the day.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be a two-parter session. So first part was to get to know me, and then second part was him to reevaluate my first assessment. But for me, the first assessment, because I don't know, he said I was very feminine. And he approved me then and there, first appointment. And it was an hour. And he prescribed me spironolactone. That's a testosterone blocker. And like, he just told me, like, start living as a woman. Like, I'm doing quotes. But.
Yeah. Because I remember two of my friends that had transitioned, they had to live as a woman for a year. I think it was a year and a half back then.
Yeah.
Like, and you were just, all you were on was like testosterone blockers and all that. And I don't even think they had estrogen at that point. It was just, you have to live like that. If you're serious, show us you're serious, right?
Exactly. And that's how it was it was supposed to be 2 years. So it was 2 years of psychiatric assessment. Like, and then, that was the rule back then.
Yeah. And now it's changed, right? Like, since this whole, everything became transgendered and TQIA plus and all sorts of stuff. It's, a lot of it's changed now, right? Like, I'm not crazy in thinking that.
Yes, it's completely changed where an RN could prescribe hormones and also refer a patient for top surgery without a psychiatric assessment within Alberta.
A nurse?
Yes.
Wow.
And that's even for children under 18. A nurse could do that. And that's within Calgary at the Metagender Clinic.
Oh. Okay. Ev, I guess where we're going. Just kidding. Sorry.
We're going to break the bylaw.
Oh, God. Stupid bylaw. So do you notice, like, I don't even know, like, what is their plan for you now? Like, do they have a plan to help you, or is it just keep shuffling you around to doctor? And what's going on with MAID, and where are you in that process?
Okay, so what the second assessor wanted for me was to settle for the numbing cream, a numbing cream that doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I had to go back to my doctor, my family doctor, who is honestly useless. She thinks that our vaginas are the same.
Oh my
and
God.
She keeps like saying us as we as females, and we like went with our vagina. I'm like, no, mine's totally like man-made. It's inverted penile skin and it's external skin.
Yeah.
Like, there's no samesies. Like, for real.
There's no same. It's not samesies. Go ahead, Ultra.
Yes, no, I was just going to make a quick announcement, folks. Please do hold off on requests for the mic. We are not taking mics at this time. We will later on in the program. So just please hold off on that. And folks, if you could please retweet the room, because this is a very important conversation about the dark side and the failing side of medical transitioning. And it's very important considering the alarming number of young people who are rushing into this thing without being told of the consequences. We want to have a good conversation going. We want this to reach many ears. So please go ahead and retweet and just hold off on your questions for right now. We will grant mics later. It's not that we don't love you. We're just not taking them right now.
Thank you, Ultra. Yeah, no, we love you guys. Yeah, but we want to get the story. We want to hear what's happening, and then for sure, I know you all have a lot of questions, and then I'm sure we can all answer them. And please land your plane in 3 minutes. But anyway, okay. So back to the conversation. So when you first had this done, nobody told you that this might happen, and there might be this, and there might be that. There was none of that. Is that correct?
So when I was told, like, after getting bottom surgery, it was within the year. So within the year, like after surgery, it might collapse. You might have soreness. You might have bleeding longer than normal, or it might die. It might lose blood flow. So like things like this. So in the short term, not in the long term, not 12 to 14 years after.
Right.
So now I'm just like making it up as I go. I'm like, okay, like what's going on? I'm trying to like look for information on the internet, but it's those newbies that are like, I don't know, like euphoric and all this. I'm just like, okay, I need somebody who's transitioned for a decade. Like, what's happening to us?
Yeah, no, definitely. and nobody's still giving you any answers at all. You're just kind of just trying to find out.
Exactly. And the Montreal clinic reached out to me. They're willing to see me in person. So this month I have an appointment at the gender clinic in Edmonton. So I'm going to ask for a referral. See if I can do the out of province program. So hopefully I could be seen in Montreal.
I really hope you can. Ava, go ahead.
And just so everybody knows, we, Lois, Neil, our friend Neil and I did actually start a GoFundMe to help with these costs, which is, part of that was used to come down to Calgary to this clinic, which was unfortunately not very helpful, but that could help Lois go and visit Montreal if that referral goes through. So I believe Lois has that as her pinned tweet or somewhere in her profile. So yeah, just so you know.
Excellent. If you want, you can post that up in the nest here by all means. Like, go ahead. That'd be really wonderful. I don't know how to work the nest. Sorry, everybody. I mean, Ultra, if you know how. I never learned the nest. I'm so bad.
I'll get right on it.
Okay, amazing. Now, when it comes to the MAID program, I know why. I totally understand why you have enrolled in that. And where is that process at this point?
So at this point, I'm done the 90 days waiting period. So technically I qualify, I'm done. But now it's just waiting for the approvals. So I have 3. I could do it with 2. So the main team itself and then the first assessor. But because I had my family doctor sign off on the form, I needed a third assessor. So we're back to the drawing board. And since I've seen my doctor and I told her that this numbing cream ain't working, I said, make sure you put it on Netcare, the notes, so that the team knows. Like, I'm not going to settle for numbing cream because at the end of the day, so if it doesn't work, they close my file. Then tomorrow I could do it again. I start all over again, minus the 90 days.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, well, when am I going to when is enough for me? Like, I'm not suffering mentally, thank God.
Yeah.
Support system. I have a psychiatrist. I have a psychologist. I have my friends and family that I can reach out to. And I have TikTok.
TikTok is good.
It is.
Yep. Ultra, go ahead.
Well, Lois, one of the most important things I've always found that's always carried me through just about everything that has happened in my life is having a good sense of humor. And, I remember the first time I ever came across you, you said that it was some kind of joke, like you used to be chief stands to pee, but now you are squall sits to pee and our squats to pee. And I just thought that was so goddamn funny that I was like, I need to follow this chick. I am absolutely in love. And also, I apologize. I can't find that tweet that you were talking about. I would love to put it up in the nest. I would love to get some visibility, see if we can make some noise to get you seen.
I just put it down in the bubble area. I don't know what that's called. I replied to the space. Yep.
Copy that. Thank you, Ava.
We have bubbles, Ultra, not feathers. Sorry.
Screw you.
Yeah, no, it's true. When it's a little lyric. Go ahead, Eva. Oh, you were just laughing. Okay.
So, sorry, nothing.
Okay. No, it's true. When I first so I had followed Eva first, and then you were great and articulate and all sorts of stuff, and I thought, wow, but she's really great. And then of course, I found Lois, and Lois, you're so down to earth and funny, and your spirit is just really incredible, and it makes me laugh. I mean, just our conversations on all sorts of stuff, it makes me very happy and everything. And so, me not knowing you very well, but at the same time really feeling like I kind of know you, does that make sense? It just makes me, just want to help every possible way I can, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I'm sounding all mushy and weird, but just tell me to shut up.
I think it's because it's my true spirit energy. For real. I feel like home to people. I just have that sense. I don't know, it's magic to me.
It is. It's pretty great. I mean, anybody that talks to you or even messages you or follows you or anything like that, it can see, you're great and you have a voice and it needs to be heard. And speaking of that, so have you gone to like media and MSM and all sort of stuff to get your story out and to say anything, and what's been the reaction?
Okay, so like the media has been reaching out to me, but it's been like, after I grew legs with Western Standard, I'm like, okay, I have to put a full stop to this because I can't let it go completely right, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Because like Rebel News, for instance, was reaching out to me. I'm like, okay, but like, I get it. Like, we're able to talk to a larger audience and stuff, but again, they're not welcome in Parliament to ask questions, like stuff like this. So I'm like, okay, I have to be very careful who I speak to.
Yes.
And then certain reporters were asking for my information, access to my family doctor. And I'm like, why? I'm like, no, I'm not. My family's not part of this. They're not part of this whole discourse or anything. They're my friends and family. Like, they're mourning, they're witnessing like all of this stuff. Like, the world is they're not part of it. They're not part of this discourse. But I'm just going to use my voice as me, myself, and I, and spread awareness about this. Like, whilst they support me in the background.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because reporters want to talk to everybody but you.
Exactly.
And you're like, well, wait a minute. Like, this is about me. This is my story. This is what's happening to me. Why don't you just want to talk to me? And I don't understand why they would do that. And I totally understand why you don't want to go too right with it. That makes a lot of sense, actually. So, but what really upsets me to hear is that, of course, our freaking media would be trying to find out everything about you from everybody else and not from you.
Yeah, well, last November, CBC reached out to me because they wanted to do November Trans Awareness Week or Visibility, Remembrance. They wanted to end it with a remembrance, and they wanted a Indigenous trans perspective. I'm like, okay, first of all, I'm not Indigenous. That's an umbrella term. I go with First Nations. And then I'm like, I am also trans as an umbrella term. I use transsexual. And that was it. Line was dead. That was it. So I'm like, okay, they're trying to box me in with their umbrella. I'm like, no.
Because you won't play along with their little narrative of this and that and the other thing, then suddenly they have no use for you whatsoever, even though this is an extremely serious situation and they just couldn't be bothered.
Exactly. And I'm like, that's why I'm using my voice and also the color of my skin. I don't care. I'm playing the race card. I have it going for me and I'm going to stick with it.
Yeah.
Well, especially of how relevant my heritage is within Canada.
Yes.
Because right now it's National Indigenous History Month.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, I got this whole month, and plus it's also Pride Month. I'm transsexual. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I'm not just that crazy Indian who cut off his penis. I'm like, for real. I'm like,
no, you're not. It's really interesting to me that you have these things. These are very important things about you, and yet you're still being silenced because you're not fitting into the everything's fine, everything's happy, we're good.
Exactly. And I'm like, well, if people have been following me for a while, I've been talking about how my grandparents went to residential school. My mom was a product of 60 Scoop. My dad was a day scholar. I grew up on boil water advisory. I'm still First Nations. This shit's still happening.
It's so interesting. Yeah, go ahead, please.
And it's relevant. It's relevant to today's climate within Canada. I don't know the word, but it's relevant to Canada as now.
Yeah, and it is. This month is not only Pride Month, but it's also a month celebrating you. And it's really funny because like every time, like I used to work in events, and every time they'd start, somebody would come in some political thing, and they would all say this little speech for Treaty 6 and First Nations and all that. And then I would think to myself, I'm like, but you guys aren't really doing anything. You're just standing here saying it. What are you doing to help? So it really pissed me off. And I even saw the mayor do it too, which made me laugh hysterically. Our mayor here in Calgary, she's crazy. 100%. Well,
I know.
yeah.
And that's all they do is just give those meaningless platitudes without us.
Yeah.
And even within AHS, they do that. I'm like, well, okay, hello, me and myself and I have this experience. I'm trying to talk to you guys. I'm trying to advocate for healthcare. And yet you won't have me at the table. Instead, you'll do a meaningless land acknowledgement, and that's it.
Yeah. And see, and that's why I think it's really important. I mean, like, should you, me, Eva, be lucky enough to go and talk to Danielle, I think that would be really good. I don't know if it would ever happen, but it would be incredible to just have that heard, you know, from three of us representing four different things. You know, like it would just be, you know, and just to make them understand that the virtue signaling isn't good enough. Like you need to do something here. Like you need to help and all that. So, Alter, what do you? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Lois.
Well, also, like me being on reserve, it's such a gray area because we are federally regulated unless we go off reserve to get provincial care. So it's like, it's such a gray area. And it's like, okay, I only matter once I leave the reserve. Or I only matter once I'm another statistic, another dead Indian on the news that they're reporting about. It's a true story.
No, I believe you. And that really upsets me that woman had said that to you, said, well, you need to move off the reserve. Like, oh, okay, like, sure, I've got all this money to go and get an apartment and all that sort of stuff. Like, I don't. Like, and she was from where, that one?
She was from Edmonton.
Yeah. Eva, what do you think when you hear of this?
Everything that's going on with Lois?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much just in agreement. There was another thing that happened with Lois. There's this SOGI pack within AHS, which is supposed to be like all about, you know, SOGI, sexual orientation, gender. Yeah, you should tell that story.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you just reminded me of the thing that happened at the appointment in Calgary. And she was also not just concerned about my pronouns, but also having sex with.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, are you planning on having sex with it?
What? Okay. Why did she? I don't understand why she asked you that.
Oh, well, I don't know either. And I'm like, well, I'm dilating to keep it open. It was hella awkward for me. I don't know about Eva. How did you feel?
Yeah, I'm like, what?
Yeah, that was kind of interesting, and it was kind of weird. Like, I guess it's relevant that maybe if you say yes, maybe she could give you other advice, but it kind of did feel like, oh, okay, so that's the only purpose for this. You don't really care that it's, not good for your quality of life. So yeah, that was kind of funny. It was funny to be in that room. Thanks for letting me come along.
It's like, do you have this car? Do you use it for work or do you use it for pleasure?
Oh my God.
But that's another thing is when a doctor assumed like that I had to get tested because they just learned about BIPOC trans women, and their assumption was most of them are in sex work. So I had to get tested for STDs, and I'm like, okay, like I'm almost a nun. I'm holier than thou, but like, but still to assume that because the color of my skin and where I live, like, who am I supposed to get these? Like, how am I supposed to make money on the reserve? I'm taking it from the poor people, like for real.
Jesus. So she was basically just assuming a whole bunch about you, just assuming things like crazy.
Yes, and it was extremely dehumanizing because I knew that she learned that from a seminar.
Mm-hmm.
That BIPOC trans women are more likely to be sex workers.
See, and that's incredible to me that they would not have you or someone like you, anything like that, at one of those seminars to say, okay, look, or even go to you for information on what is it really like, and please tell us what is actually going on. And they never seem to do that, do they? They just kind of just make these assumptions and then just go off and all.
Exactly. Like they'll have their token person of color in the room to speak on everyone's behalf. Or they'll have an Indigenous person. So going back to the umbrella term of Indigenous, that's First Nations, Inuit, and Métis. So usually when I find out it's an Indigenous person, it's a Métis person.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, that's a whole different set of people. So why are they speaking on like my behalf or people like me?
Yeah,
like
that makes sense.
Like if you're gonna have us at the table, have all of us at the table under the umbrella.
Yeah, and I believe that too. I believe that they should be doing that with what's happening with all of us. They have all those people that are pro this and pro that and pro this, but they need to have the other side of the coin there, which would be us. So I totally understand. Yeah, I mean, and your voice needs to be heard. Eva's voice needs to be heard. Like all of us. Like it just, yeah. Ultra, what were you going to say? Sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh no, I don't think I really had anything to bring, but yeah, no, they definitely tokenize us, and they look for like the most extreme case of something. It's always the blue-haired weirdos that are up there. It's never a normal, everyday gay man or lesbian woman or a transsexual person. They always look for, the blue-haired weirdos with glitter beards and everything to parade up there, never says a word. And, they talk for us, and it's extraordinarily busting, especially I think everyone on the panel here agrees that we don't like the direction that the LGBTQAI plus is going in. So we don't feel represented at all.
Well, and especially since it's, especially when you have people and it's it's affected them negatively. They don't want to hear about that. Nobody's interested in that whatsoever, unless you've got. It really bugs me because Lois is speaking up, trying to be heard, and she's just getting ignored because she's not fitting into the mold of them. The whole thing that's she's not fitting into the mold. That's what I'm trying to say. Am I correct in that? Yeah.
Yes, and it's extremely sad because, growing up First Nations on the reserve and growing up, before all of this,
that's my cat. I'm sorry. She visits while I'm on Spaces. I'm so sorry. Hi, honey. Yes, that's right. Okay, anyway, sorry, everybody. Yep.
But so before Indigenous lives matter, all of this stuff, every child matters. So growing up in the 90s and early 2000s, I knew my place in society. I knew when to speak and when to listen. It's extremely sad to know, as a dark-skinned person, ever attest to this, my skin's dark. That
Yes.
Yes, it is.
You played Scary Spice in the Spice Girls when you and your cousins were growing up.
Exactly. It made sense.
Classify this as sex worker dark?
Which I know.
Yes.
So how do you feel about, okay, so you know what's going on in the world and all sorts of stuff. How do you feel about what's happening up here with all of this insanity with gender affirming care for children and all these different things that are happening? How do you feel about all this, and how I just want to know what your feelings are on all that, and same question after. Yeah.
Honestly, it's indoctrination of vulnerable individuals, like kids and adults. We see a lot of it being on the autism spectrum or people with borderline personality disorders, ADHD, all of this stuff. And it's okay, you guys are literally continuing what Canada has always done. And we've seen it within Canada, the sterilization of certain groups. Mm-hmm. We've seen it with, in Alberta alone, it was individuals with Down syndrome that they were sterilizing up until the early 2000s. Mm-hmm. And our government had to apologize for that. And yet now they're doing it with autistic children and other neurodivergents. It never stopped. The genocide never stopped. So now, and I talked about the Metagender Clinic in Calgary. It's for children under 18. And they could be referred to the clinic by a school counselor without parental consent. And then, it's very, to me, I'm very concerned, especially given the statistics within Canada where like people like me, First Nations, are overrepresented in homelessness, foster care, prisons, domestic violence, suicides. And I'm like, okay, like, to me, it's bigger than me. Like, MAID is bigger than me, and I'm trying to ensure that it's not appealing. Like, it shouldn't be the resort. It shouldn't be the only option that a person has. So, and I'm like,
yeah, go on.
So, and I'm like, well, I'm going to use my voice while seeking MAID until it's my time. I'm like, I'm going to use my voice. And Eva has seen me try to walk away how many times? And I'm like, I'm done. But then something always made me stay. And like, to me, like I was told by several people, I don't want to say on our side, but like our side, that I shouldn't speak about this. That I'm just going to glamorize MAID. And I'm like, no, we have to have these conversations. When do we have these conversations? Is it when there's a rush? When there's already like hundreds of people that are LGBT that are going through MAID? Are not even the first transsexual in Canada to seek this. There's three. Wow. But I'm the most vocal. There's one in Ontario and one in BC, and then there's me in Alberta.
Right.
And I'm like, they were in the news. One was on the National, and I believe one was CTV News. I'm like, yet nobody's jumping down their throats, yelling at them. And I'm like, we have to have these conversations. I'm like, again, I'm not the only one who's seeking this as a transsexual. But nor am I the only First Nations person seeking this.
So the people who are on our side as well, I'd say you shouldn't glamorize this and all sort of stuff. You're not doing that. You're making this known, and you are talking about it. Which, whoever they are, just refer them to me, and I'll spam everybody's Twitter feed again with a fight. But thank you, Eva. Eva, how do you feel about all that? The child gender affirming care, all that sort of thing as well.
Yeah, well, that's one of the main reasons why I do any of this and talk about any of this. I think people have lost their minds. That's part of what kept me from diving headfirst into this, as like in my late 20s, as all of this was ramping up. Like, I think like a lot of millennials, like a lot of lesbians and gay people, you get kind of just shuffled along to accept this stuff because it's just in that milieu and the water's slowly boiling and you don't really notice. But I remember when I first heard about this idea of like trans kids, probably in 2018, I sat my partner down, Tara, who I've been with for a really long time. I sat her down and I said, don't you think like as kids, we would have been targeted for this? Because I was a huge tomboy. So was she. I'm still quite gender nonconforming. And I just said, don't you think that would have been us? And at the time, she was still kind of on board that way. She said, oh, no, it's different. So I was like, okay, fine, I accept that. But I just couldn't really shake it. I was like, how is it different? Come on. I was a complete tomboy. I only had like boyfriends. I wore boy clothes. I was the exact kind of child. And then like a lot of young kids, like pre-gay kids, because, there is truth in the stereotype. A lot of future lesbians are a bit more masculine. A lot of future gay boys are a bit more feminine. And so we would be very much targeted by this stuff. So that's what kept me from kind of jumping headfirst into it. And the fact that this is happening it just blows my mind. Like Lois mentioned, it isn't just gender nonconforming kids, it's autistic kids. It's in Canada in particular, like First Nations kids are way overrepresented in this. Our ratio is also just like other Western countries. It's like a ratio of like 3 times as many girls to boys that are seeking this out. Although I wonder if those stats are changing. And it's just, if you look at just the pure numbers, why would there be 3 times as many girls? Why would First Nations kids be overrepresented in this? Why are these kids having, being born in the wrong bodies? So even just looking at the stats, it has to make you question it. And yeah, I just don't know what's going on.
No, I agree 100%. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry, Eva.
Well, that's one really sad thing about this thing is that it is it is tremendously impacting the next generation of gay boys and lesbian girls. It is, as you said, hitting children who have autism and other neurodivergent children. It's even getting cake baking little straight mama's boys, feminine straight boys, and tom girls who are straight girls. A lot of kids with borderline personality disorder, a lot of kids with body dysmorphia are also getting swept up in this mess. And it's absolutely terrifying that we have torn down all of the safeguards that were meant to protect somebody from making a mistake. And these kids are being fast-tracked on it. And, listening to you, Lois, you're telling us all of the pain and everything that you've been going through for 14 years and nobody told you and nobody knows what to do with you. And kids are being fast-tracked onto this path. It's heartbreaking.
Go ahead, Eva.
Yeah, and I just want to add, even a lot of kids that have suffered abuse, sexual abuse, because a lot of the signs of that is like dissociation, hating your body, emotional dysregulation. So I wrote an article one time that was just like what you might be overlooking when you label a child trans. And it's basically all these things. If you accept that diagnosis, if you accept, if you affirm them, then you could be overlooking just like a world of trouble and just eventual future regret like Lois is dealing with right now.
Yeah, if you find that article, just so we'll retweet it and everything. Go ahead, Lois.
Well, I also want to add, since I've been out, really loud about this, I've talked to a few parents of trans kids, and these kids are being affirmed, of course, and at school and in the medical system. And, these kids think that they're going to grow up to be real boys and, real men and women. Mm-hmm. This one in Alberta thinks that his daughter, quote, was a boy who was transitioning to be a girl, and he thinks that he's going to be a real woman when they grow up, being able to have a period, to carry a child. Like what's being taught to this child? I asked. I'm like, what's this? Is the psychologist, not a psychiatrist, a psychologist?
That's
at the stallery. I'm like, what? Like, you're missing. They're being misinformed. They're not going to be functioning adults. And I'm like, your child, within this year is going to start puberty blockers. I'm like, good Lord, your child's not going to be able to have, be a normal adult. I'm glad I went through puberty, for sure.
Yeah. That's, go ahead, Ultra, sorry.
Well, it is, I really just think about everything that we have seen in the last 2 years. And, this is gonna be looked at in hindsight as a dark ages of thought and science. Honestly, folks, this is an attack on truth right now, and I cannot believe that the most vulnerable populations of our society, and especially our children who are the next future. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little upset here, and Duchess, would you please restate for the audience, because many have joined us since, about what, is your case here as a post-op transsexual woman, so we can get everybody on the same page. And folks, for those of you joining us, we aren't taking microphones just yet. We will after we have our roundtable discussion, so please hold those microphones for later. Not that we don't love you, we will get to you. And if everyone could, this is an important conversation. Please retweet out the room. Let's get some visibility. Let's get some traction. It would be greatly appreciated. But Lois, please, reiterate your story one more time for the audience, please.
Okay, everyone get ready to be sad all over again.
Oh, God. I'm fucking crying. I hate you.
Oh, my cats. I'm just using them as Kleenex now. Anyway, go on. Sorry, go.
Well, I'm a post-op transsexual of 14 years. I transitioned. I started my transition in 2007. I had bottom surgery in 2009, and now I'm dealing with medical complications, and I'm not receiving medical help. So I've decided to seek medical assistance in dying, and I'm on track for that. And that's a bingo.
Yes.
So, Lois, who advised for you? I mean, did you want to get a vaginoplasty? And for the audience, that's changing a penis into a vagina surgically. Did you want to do that, or did somebody advise you about this?
Yes, at the time I wanted to. Like, that was the end goal of transition back in the day, was that you had gender dysphoria, like extreme dysphoria, which was disassociation of, well, body dysmorphia with your top and bottom. So vaginoplasty or bottom surgery was the end goal back in the day. So I did want it. Like, according to the timeline, it was 2 years of psychiatric assessment. And then 2 to 4 years after that. So I would have been 23 to 25, not 21. I didn't even finish the program, and nor did I pass the second psychiatric assessment. I shouldn't have been pushed through to begin with. But they canceled the program, they canceled the funding. So everyone in 2009, 2008 were pushed through. And the funding didn't stop until March 31st of 2010. So I still had time, but I don't know why or how I landed up being qualified. Even the province said, no, like, Lois doesn't meet the criteria to get bottom surgery.
And so now that it's happened, and now that you've had bottom surgery and these issues are happening, just to recap real quick for everybody, she's having a lot of trouble with it, and people, she's being, doctors are just tossing you around to doctor, you know, nobody really, so nobody's actually, yeah, and they're just trying to ask you about your pronouns and not and not address everything that's happening. That's what actually happened. Is that, sorry, go ahead, Ultra.
And if I may, Lois, do you think it's that they don't know what to do, or do you think they are scared to touch the sacred cow that is trans, you know, to actually step forth and say, hey, there's a problem here?
I think it's a little bit of both, because we're seeing our healthcare system being captured by gender identity ideologies. So they're afraid to do their job. So they're just affirming, and that's it. And yet I'm stuck with this pain and a friend that farts.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because everybody seems to have come on board and hijacked, and suddenly it's all politicized, and we need to depoliticize all this, because this affirming is just, it's not, gender affirming care is not what everybody seems to think it is. I mean, I'm correct in that, right? Like, it's not what everybody seems.
Exactly. It's very dismissive, dehumanizing, and degrading. I've experienced that firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
Like, them assuming that I'm in the sex trade because of the color of my skin and what they think trans is. So I'm like, oh my goodness. Or they get to reclassify my sexual orientation because I'm not a whore.
Yeah, right? And it's interesting. Go ahead, Emma.
Oh, I was just going to add that you're right. Like, a lot of young people who want this stuff, it's sold to them as like this cure-all, and it's so good, and medical science can do so much, but they truly have no idea what they're getting themselves into. I mean, it's not necessarily true that maybe they're all going to end up in pain and regretting it, but really high rates of complications. These are still experimental surgeries. And I mean, if you really think about it, like, what you're doing is you're taking some of the most sensitive parts of your body and trying to refashion them into, you know, so it's just, people don't know what they're getting themselves into at all. It's very sad.
And a young 18-year-old who was getting a vaginoplasty recently flatlined on the operating table, and we unfortunately lost the poor soul because she had been on puberty blockers. There wasn't even enough tissue down there to work anything. So when they started to perform the vaginoplasty, which for the audience, that's turning a penis into a vagina, there wasn't enough tissue. So the poor thing bled out, and there was an issue with sepsis. And, you know, we lost an 18-year-old child. It is heartbreaking that kids are being fast-tracked onto this, as you said, Ava, a cure-all. And quite obviously, no one is really being honest with anybody about the risks associated with these. I believe that bottom surgeries have a 65% or higher complication rate. And that's both phalloplasties, where they create an artificial penis for a trans man, a woman who is transitioning into a man, as well as for vaginoplasties, which is where they're turning a penis into a vagina for trans women. And nobody's talking about this. The risks and the potential long-term problems that have put poor Lois here in this predicament.
Eva, go ahead, and then we'll go to Laura.
Yeah, so the case you mentioned, that actually happened in 2016. And the crazy thing about that is that was part of the landmark Dutch study, which has been used to justify these procedures, I think, in minors, but don't quote me. I'll share it in the bubble. It's Mia Ashton wrote a really good article about it. She dug it up and she figured out what happened to this poor person. So yeah, that was quite horrific. I'll go post it.
Thank you so much. Laura is actually one of our panelists, and she has just joined us. How is Brian Adams? And welcome, and thank you for coming. And also, hello, Meg, and thank you for coming as well. I see you there, so thank you so much. Go ahead, Laura.
Hi, Jack. Hey, everyone. Sorry that I'm so late, but yes, Brian Adams was amazing. I definitely had tears streaming down my face. For those of you that do not know, Brian Adams is actually my childhood rock star. Like he is the artist for me. Anyways, I'm very old school, and I'm still young. I'm an old soul, I guess. But anyways, that's not what we're talking about. Ava, what you said is completely true. I know what you're talking about with the Duchess and everything like that. But I do want to say, so I'm a transsexual woman. I'm the member of the panel that is the token tranny, just kidding. But we can joke here.
Yeah.
But I do want to say that I know many transsexuals across the world. Not anybody in my area. We're very rare, right? But what the Duchess was talking about, is the end goal, which was the bottom surgery, right? So 8 years ago, I met with a great friend of mine, and I met another two acquaintances, and they're both they're all transsexuals, right? All three have had bottom surgeries. The stories that they have told me, I can tell you right now, it has broken my heart. And me as a transsexual woman, it has made me reconsider not getting that surgery. Okay? Like, they cannot experience pleasure in life. They cannot experience what they were promised. Okay? This, as a transsexual woman, I have many, trans women friends or acquaintances that want to get that surgery because, that's the end goal for us, right? We want to have that. But what we have been seeing now has really changed our minds. It is still very, I forget who said it, but it is still very experimental. Okay? This is not something you can play around with. This is not something you can take back. Okay? I promise you, these women trans women that I've talked to, that I am very well acquainted with, they don't have a life. They don't have a life that they were promised. They were promised this extravagant, like they could have this loving life with their, male partner or whoever, and that is why, me, Laura, being a transsexual woman, I actually advocate now, like, do all the other surgeries and the hormones you want, right? Do not get that. Do not get the surgery. The surgery is very experimental. It's dangerous. And it does both for trans women and trans men. Guys, this is the downfall. And this is not just coming from me. This is coming from other trans sisters. This is the downfall for trans people. Do not get this surgery, okay? This is, I cannot explain this enough. I know I got in here late, guys, but I'm listening to what you guys are talking about. This is, like, my heart goes out to all of my family members that have had this. It's not something to play around with. Thank you, guys.
No, Of course. You're always. Thank you for that very much, Duchess. Go ahead, and we're going to go over to. We'll go to Meg after. Sorry, don't kill me.
Can you not tell dykes apart, dude?
I know who their names are, for God's sake. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Lois.
I like the ratio here. It's like 4 males to 2 females. Let men speak.
Go ahead, love.
Well, what Laura was saying, like, it's true. Like, I hardly have a life. Like, there's things I can't do that I loved doing, like swimming. I can't swim or I risk an infection. And I'm just, my whole life is revolving around dilating. And it's like, it is very exhausting. So I have to make sure I dilate. And I have to do that for the rest of my life. It's like, this is something that I don't want others who think they're trans to go through.
Mm.
What has been done to me should not be done to another person.
Yeah. Meg, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. Sorry for being late. I think my wife just logged on too. We were stuck in the middle of a riot at a school board meeting, ironically.
I saw that. Are you okay?
Yeah, no, we're fine. We had our security and it just got crazy, and then the board meeting was canceled. But yeah. I just want to say how happy that I am to have Duchess and Eva here. Longtime followers. Love you guys so much. Your stories are so important. And yeah, just a comment. Those surgeries are so scary. They're so scary. And having an 80% complication rate, it is difficult to justify it when it is being sold so much to these people. Like, these individuals are being so sold on it. And it makes me very, very sad, because then I see the kids being sold on it too. And they don't even realize what they're getting into. But yeah, love you guys. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your story.
And we're all so glad you're safe. Andy was posting videos of what was happening there. Sorry, everybody, just real quick, of where you were in Glendale, and I'm so glad you girls are okay. I was like messaging you two on your fucking signal, going, "Are you okay? Is everything all right?"
Well, if you would have logged into Telegram, I was sending videos, and Jen and I were sending updates the whole time.
Oh, thank God. Okay, cool. Yeah,
no, crazy.
Oh, I saw that. We'll talk about that one after. But yeah, that looked insane. Ultra, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, me almost crashing into a deer on my motorcycle on the way home tonight just does not seem nearly as fun as you guys going toe-to-toe with Annie at a school board meeting. I'm very glad that you both are very safe, and I'm glad that we can all get together and have these conversations, because these are very important conversations that are needed. Before I give off my little spiel, I just wanted to say to the audience, please hold. We are not taking microphones at this time. We will after we're done with the round of the table. If the audience could please do us a favor and retweet this, because these are important conversations. We would like to get as many people involved and hear this, so it really does the room a lot of favors by retweeting. So please, pretty please, with sugar and cream and cherries on top, please retweet this room. And one thing I wanted to really bring out, because they used that Dutch study as sort of like their trump all. See, 1% positions, when, well, if we really want to be factual, it's 1.9 detransitions. But let us also take a look at that Dutch study. That Dutch study was done over decades. And that study was done when we still had the safeguards. Years of psychological counseling and a year of living through makeup, clothing, and presentation as the opposite sex before we began things like hormones. That has all been taken away. After an hour, you can walk out with a prescription for hormones in this day and age, for hormone replacement therapy. And I'm sorry if it was Ava or Duchess who said that, our RN can give you a referral for a mastectomy, which is the removal of the breast. So all of the safeguards have been taken away. And many detransitioners, it takes up to 8 years for them to realize, oh, this was a mistake. So using that Dutch study is really just absolutely dishonest, because it was completely different protocols over a very long time. All of those protocols have been removed, and all of the studies that are coming out now do not nearly cross as long of a threshold as that did. And, I really think that we need to start rubbing that in their faces when they bring up the Dutch study, because it's hardly fair. It's like comparing apples to oranges. Yeah, they're both fruits, but they're not the same fruit.
Well, it's interesting that you say that too about RNs are allowed to do that. I know the girls were saying that as well. But also teachers, and what was it, Eva or Lois, was it you that said it? Your school counselor could give you a note or something like that. And is that?
Yeah, a school counselor can refer a child to a gender program.
Yes.
Without parental consent.
Yeah, and in New Brunswick right now, there's they're re-looking at something that's happening there because teachers have that God-given right, apparently, that they can hide the fact that a child is expressing interest in becoming an opposite gender and all that from the parents and everything like that. And so that's something happening in New Brunswick for all of our Canadian listeners, for all the Americans that's out east, above New York. But it's they're hiding that, and they're actually revisiting this now. And thank goodness that the premier out there seems to be on our side, because he's like he thinks that this is wrong as well, because teachers should not have that right whatsoever to do that. That's not the child's parent. The child's parent needs to be involved about that, not anything. Like it's just blowing my mind, the stuff that's been going on behind the scenes that we were just finding out about. And then it comes down to, sometimes it comes down to a lot of times it comes down to a very sad ending, where it's like, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. That's my rant, you guys. Thank you, Walter, for laughing at me. Thank you, everybody.
I had to practically Shakespeare.
Whatever, you ran into Bambi, for God's sake. Anyway,
Bambi.
God. So now, what is the plan now? Lois, what? Oh, sorry. Oh, Laura, your hand's up. I'm so sorry.
No. You're fine, Jack. You're fine. So I don't want to piggyback off of what you guys are saying. Everything you guys are saying is completely true. Okay. I think the whole panel has been doing the research now into this, like who's condoning this and everything. But also for those of you that are brand new to this, I do work for the U.S. government. Okay. And I was talking to my endocrinologist. For those of you on the listeners that don't know this, endocrinologists, they're the ones that trans people go to when they're getting their hormones and everything, right? So at this point in my transition, I only see her, my endocrinologist doctor, I only see her maybe once every 3 months or so. So long story short, I saw her in November, right? So I'm going to be seeing her next month. And I told her about my activism, right? Normally these conversations, these appointments, only last maybe 30 minutes tops, maybe 40. We were there for an hour and 45 minutes, pushing 2 hours. Okay, because we were talking about all of this, what's going on with the children, what's going on with our community, what's going on just in the whole LGBT, just everything as a whole, and what my views are, the standards, the life, everything. And she stopped everything that she was doing, right? And again, this is a woman that's known me for years and years. She's told me that, Laura, I'm so glad you told me this, because only you and 2 other patients of mine have talked about this kind of stuff to me. And they're a decade older than you. They are told, and this is coming from her, okay? They are told to affirm everything, from adults to children. If you are gender confused, that to give you the green light to transition. Take that in for a moment. That's huge. That's affirmative care at its peak right there. Okay? that's not actually helping true transsexuals. That's not helping anyone. No one, okay?
Yeah.
That's coming straight from somebody that is very high ranking, okay? I will tell you that, okay? So that's even in our governments. That's all I was going to say.
Yeah, no, it's happening up here too.
Is it?
Because it's crazy. The amount of stuff that we're finding out is crazy. Duchess, go ahead. I'm sorry. Ultra, I know you want to speak, but Lois got her hand up.
Well, speaking about like Alberta, within AHS, we have a provincial advisory council. So there's one called SOGPAC, Sexual Orientation, Gender Identity Expression. And it's just mostly a closed door meeting only. And it's just people that push their agenda, and yet they speak on behalf of all Albertans, LGBT Albertans, without having us at the table. And I tried to speak to them several times, even regarding my story. And they voted, the council, 12 members, all white, voted to have me banned from ever speaking to them.
Was that our friend?
Yes.
We won't say his name.
Yes.
But you and I both, Eva, I know who that is, and I can't stand that person. I'll tell you a story later.
Well, I wrote an entire article about him.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so we had this, I'll say it without saying names because I don't want to get in trouble. We had somebody infiltrate the gay community years ago, came in, used everybody they could, went ahead and transitioned and all sort of stuff. Just used everybody and is now the go-to person for all trans people in Alberta and I don't know where else. It's just ridiculous because I know that creep and I know what he did.
That was this person?
I know. Yeah, I know what he did. I know him.
God.
Remember I told you?
Oh my God.
When I did drag all those years, guess who was coming on the scene when I came
Oh my God, of course. That was part of my article.
Yeah. I know.
I wish I had known you.
Oh yeah. Sorry, Laura, what were you going to say? Yeah, no.
No, you need to DM me. I want to know who this is.
Oh, it's just, and what he did to Lois, and it's just like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm sorry, everybody. I know Ultra, you got your hand up, but this guy really, really fucking stabbed her in the back and just totally made it about himself and took everything away from the importance of what Lois is talking about. And it made me so mad. To me, that's just one of those crazy TRAs that's out there fucking going nuts and everything. And I'm swearing because I know who it is and it pisses me off that happened. So it's especially the dirt I got on that guy. Anyway, sorry, Ultra, go ahead.
Why, it's no problem at all. One of my followers, and he's in the room here, sent me a picture of a phalloplasty. And because it is relevant, folks, we are talking about this. And so I also went and hunted down a picture of a vaginoplasty. So, folks, these are the respective surgeries that we are talking about. And brace yourself. They are up in the nest for you folks. You can see a vaginoplasty and a phalloplasty. These things have high complication rates. They've caused a great deal of grief for one of our guest speakers, Duchess here. As she said, she can't even go swim without risking an infection. And it's a travesty that children are being fast-tracked onto this and that individuals are being sold an unscientific lie under the guise of trusting the science.
Mm-hmm. Do you know what really pisses me off about this? And I know that Meg and Jen can attest to this. We know what the truth is. All of us up here that have microphones right now, even people in the room, we all know what the truth is about this. And then you have crazy people in Antifa pushing this narrative. Go ahead. Your hand is up.
Well,
no. Sorry. Go ahead. I was going to say, go ahead,
Not
Jen.
you.
Exactly.
Not you. Stop butting in.
I didn't see anyone else's hand up.
I love the girls. No, go ahead, you guys. It's okay. I'm sorry.
Okay, so for example, tonight we literally had a straight white liberal male trying to tell 3 lesbians and a gay man that we basically weren't part of the LGBT and that we were traitors and we were white supremacists and Nazis, and it was hilarious because even the girl that was on the other side, who was trying to protect quote unquote trans kids, you know, the vegan cats. She even told him to shut up because he was a B-penis person and shouldn't be speaking on such things. They have no cohesive arguments. That shit was funny as hell. And I'm still so amped because it got so crazy. It is my Super Bowl. That is all.
Go ahead, Harley. I'm so sorry.
It's all right. And since you just mentioned that, I also threw another video up in the nest of a very similar situation where a straight man is red in the face screaming, and he's doing it on behalf of trans kids. And you just see his face break when a gay man, you know, goes, I'm gay and you don't speak for me. You just see the broken loss of purposeness in this straight man's face when an actual member of the LGBT community comes down on him. But, you know, kind of going back to, you know, where this is all coming from, expanding on what Laura had said, is, you know, we've already talked about that it's in the schools, and sometimes it's parents, as we like to call it, trans housing by proxy, where mom and dad decide, oh, you're a trans child. And, you know, my family almost had a very close call with a young lady, and we found out that it was coming from her peers, and she was insisting she was trans. And my cousin is an open-minded person, but not a fool. She took her to a doctor, to a therapist, and he examined my cousin's daughter and said, I don't think she's trans. You know, so the next step was me and a actual trans man, a woman who got sexual reassignment surgery to present as a woman. We sat down with her and we like, yeah, we don't see her being trans at all, but she still insisted she was trans. But it was coming from her dance school amongst her peers. And she pissed off the Queen Bee. And the Queen Bee led a campaign of harassment. So all of her friends turned on her. And then after she was pulled out of that dance school and no longer friends with these kids, all of this I'm trans stopped within my cousin's daughter. So from a lot of places, people, it is really infiltrated everything. It's completely unscientific. And, you know, I think that a lot of people, if you truly want to understand this, you need to read the John Jones case by Dr. Money. This is the origin point of it all. To give you a brief synopsis, two identical twins were born with penile deformities. Their names were Bruce and Brian. They botched Bruce's penile surgery so badly that the parents looked for multiple specialists and wound up with Dr. Money. Dr. Money suggested changing the infant into a girl and raise him as if he were a girl, never let him know. And Dr. Money touted this as a success. And this is the origin point of all of this trans gender surgery and gender identity and gender theory. But what they don't tell you is the horrific things he did to the twins, like having the boy Brian mount the sister Brenda. And nor does the study mention that Brenda eventually transitioned back into a boy. I would then say, after reading that, you should read Being Me by David Reimer, because Bruce, who became Brenda, transitioned back to a boy named David Reimer. And unfortunately, both Reimer brothers, both twins involved in the studies, committed suicide. One by drugs and one by blowing his head off. You want to tell me that that is a success story? No, not at all.
It's terrifying. I have questions for Eva and Lois after. Go ahead, Meg.
Okay, so I just wanted to say, Ultra, the person that you're talking about is Jen and I's friend, Mike Harlow.
Yeah.
He was the one that went and completely confronted him at a rally in New York, and it was at a Pride type event.
I know.
It was epic.
I love the broken face in the straight lip bro when he's like, I'm gay. You. I was just like, the brokenness in the straight man's face. Was like, licking barbecue off my fingers.
Yeah, I know. We even saw so much of that today, but what I wanted to touch on was what you guys were saying is that we get that shit all the time. Mm-hmm. Anybody who wants to speak actual truth, we get confronted with all of the same rhetoric. You guys are Trump MAGAs. Well, no, I'm not. I'm independent. People people have to earn my freaking vote. You're not just going to get it because of whatever. And they always say we're anti-trans and anti-gay. And I'm like, how can I be anti-gay when I've been with my wife for 7 years? Like, literally, like, bruh, come on. Go ahead.
No. It was the cat. Sorry, my mic's on. Go ahead.
The cat.
Sorry.
Always the cat.
Sorry.
Damn pussies.
Right? They ruin everything.
But yeah, like today was just a reminder of everything that you guys were just talking about the hate that we get from people who think they're doing good. And a few moments, we hopefully have some good footage of it where we have almost a Mike Harlow situation, like the same type of encounter. And it's just crazy when you go to these places and see the amount of people that all we want to do is protect kids. Like, what is so wrong with that? Like, why are these people thinking a bunch of homos and lesbians are going out there to do anything except for to protect kids? Like, how does that realize for these people? That's all I want to say.
It's crazy, isn't it? I wake up every day to a brand new hate message. It's lovely. Today I was called faggot. So it's just like, that's wonderful. Now,
welcome to GAG.
Literally,
welcome to GAG.
You're a terrible person. You hate trannies. I'm like, no, I don't. What the fuck are you talking about? Anyway, my question for Ava and Lois. What do you think, each of you, what do you think when you see people out there advocating for this, when you know, if you know what I mean? What's your feelings on that? Because I know each of you must get trolled as well. But how do you feel about that sort of thing when that happens to you? Whoever wants to go first, go for it.
Do you mean when we get trolled by people or when we see people advocating for this kind of stuff, or both?
When we see people advocating. I mean, we all know what happens when we get trolled.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Like the people who support all this nonsense, like the childhood transitions and all that.
Yeah.
My main takeaway is these people are just very shallow and they're way more concerned about looking good than actually doing any kind of real good. It just comes down to that. They want to look like they're on the right side of history. They want to look like they're these paragons of virtue without actually having to think, without actually having to have any real virtues, any real morals, any critical thinking about whether what they're doing is right or wrong. Because look, I understand everybody has different opinions, but I refuse to understand that there is a valid opinion that says, a child who just plays with the wrong toys should be transitioned. That's not valid. And so I just think that if you're willing to actually sit down and think about it and have that hard discussion with yourself and with people and grapple with this and actually want to do good and help people, you're not going to end up at that point. So I just I think it's very sort of like banal because I don't think a lot of these people are just like downright evil. I just think that they don't truly care to figure out what it is that they're doing.
I agree. What do you think, Lois?
I agree with Eva 100%. She speaks for me. And this weekend, the town over is having a pride event. I'm gonna go and wear my reclaimed flag and just speak my truth. I really don't care because we have open mic, so you can go up there and talk. I'm going to talk. I really don't care. I'm gonna go shock these people.
You're freaking amazing.
Well, can we actually fill in the audience? For those of you who don't know, there's the old school pride flag, which is the rainbow flag, and then there's this progress flag you've probably seen on social media that has the triangle coming in from the left. Well, Lois made a video where she cut out the progress part of the pride flag, and then she proceeded to burn the progress part in a fire pit. And oh my god, the video was just freaking epic.
It was epic.
And so the original rainbow flag was left over with sort of like a swallowtail or a dovetail, and it was actually beautiful. So she's thinking about going to the pride wearing just that. So that's gonna definitely cause some reeing.
I think what you did was fantastic, by the way. Sorry, were you going to talk again, Ultra?
Well, Laura had her hand up. I'll wait in turn.
Oh, okay. Before Laura goes, Laura, I see you, and I swear to God, I got to get to you. we were all talking about how we weren't, thank goodness we were born when we were born, because if we were born now and our parents would try to, or somebody would try to transition us now and all sort of stuff, ahead of schedule and everything. No, I can really resonate with that, because as a kid, I know I've said it once before in a space and everything, but my parents had split up when I was young, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, at a really young age, I was really feminine, and I was always dressing up in my stepmother's high-heeled shoes. And my father decided to throw me into to Royal Alec, into the psych ward at the Royal Alec back in the 80s. And they tried to make me not gay. So I've been trying to find out exactly what kind of tests they did on me and all sorts of stuff, because a lot of it's been blocked out. But I know there was a lot of stuff that they did to me. I kind of remember stuff. So I kind of want to figure out what that is. But I am kind of glad that this whole crazy transgender thing wasn't there then, because it might have gone the other way. Instead of trying not to make me not gay, which I was going to be anyway, you just can't stop it. They might have actually made me to a girl, which I don't think I'd let, for myself, it wouldn't be me. So, Lois got your hand up, but Laura's got her hand up too. Fight it out, girls.
Wanted to quickly add.
Yeah. Oh God, sorry.
No, I want to add to what Jack was saying. Is thank God we were born in the 1900s.
Mm-hmm.
For real.
Yep.
Honestly, today they're trying to trans the gay away.
Oh yeah, yeah. They don't want.
But I'll let exactly now. I'll let Laura speak.
Okay, sorry.
100%, girl. You're completely true. They are. I don't think there was a couple things I was gonna say. Right. They are definitely trying to trans away the gay. This era, I truly believe, is homophobic. Okay. I don't know if anybody's going to be offended here. I'm sorry if you are, but I truly believe it's more homophobic than it is transphobic. I really believe that. More and more society, and again, I'm in America. I'm in Washington, D.C. Okay, I'm in the heart of all the evil. Okay, trust me. I feel like it's more homophobic than it is transphobic. Now, I'm not denying that there's transphobia. Sure, there might be some, but to the extent of what people are saying, absolutely not. Also, Jen and Meg, you guys were, I just wanted to, that's when I started raising my hand. Sorry, girls. You guys, when, everybody that's saying you're homo or transphobic or anything like that, Ultra has been doing a great job of tagging me and other tranny women in comments when people are trolling him and everything like that. And Ultra, I gotta give it to you. I love you, bro. Seriously, you are amazing. Because I just jumped in. I'm like, "What's up, bitches? This gay man is not transphobic, So just to remind you guys, just tag me, okay? If it's in person, I'm sorry, I can't help you. But if it's on the internet, whatever, just tag me, okay? Because there's so many people now that's tagging me. Buck Angel, and Mark and other people, just a bunch of other people now, because we're uniting. The trans people are more and more, we're gathering together, and we're jumping in for our LGBT counterparts that's being attacked by these trolls. I swear to God, these trolls are my worst nightmare. They are the most annoying people in the entire world. I honestly, I call them goblins now. Because you look at their pictures and you're just ew. Anyways, but this was really just this talk to Jen and Meg. I love you guys so much. And to all my LGBT people here, I love y'all so much. I got you. Just fucking tag me. It's so easy. And I will come running.
Does anybody love Jack? Anybody love Jack? I mean,
we kind of love you a little bit.
Sometimes, depending on the phase of the moon.
I
just had to jump in super quick. Laura, girl, we have your back and we love you to death and back. And I was literally just talking about that to a couple of our members today who went with us to the meeting. How much I fucking love you.
Amazing.
Girl, I love you too. You're amazing. All right, I'm done. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Ultra, did you want to go before Lois and Ava, or did you want them to go first?
If since it's relevant to the conversation, well, let me just say, Laura, I appreciate you having my back in conversations, and you always feel free to tag on me. Like Jen, Jack, and I, especially, we go back and forth with these jerk offs so freaking much, and it's especially fun to put a straight white liberal woman in her fucking place when she's.
And I'd like to apologize to my followers for spamming your feeds with all of my trolling back and forth. But
yeah. But,
sorry. But thank you all for jumping in.
It is great when we show them the true diversity of the LGBT. There are lots of gays, lesbians, and real transsexuals, not the I'm non-binary for attention types that are against this message, and we're really sick of being spoken over. And that sort of brings me to sort of round everything out to what we have just been talking about is, Lois here, for those of you who are joining us, is seeking medically assisted suicide because of complications from her ill-advised surgery. She doesn't get the care she needs. Nobody really knows what they're doing. They don't want to touch the woke message. She lives in pain. It has hindered her life. And this shows you that the very precarious situation that trans people are put into in reality. Now, let's factor in the fact that kids who are not trans are getting fast-tracked into these complications without knowing. They're being sold a lie. And, well, we all of us in this panel have talked about the fear that if we grew up in this age, we might have been transed away. And the thing is, a gay man, our gender identity is fine. We're still men. We just have a sexuality difference. Same for lesbians. And you think about it, if you trans a gay or a lesbian or even a neurodivergent child, somebody with autism, body dysmorphia, you are setting them up for a lifetime of pain that will never be able to be corrected. So you are already taking a marginalized, damaged soul and making their life even worse of a hell that you can never take back. And then this brings me to the real hard part of this war. So when it comes to the left, they are organized. Folks, I don't have time to go into it, but most of the LGBTQ right now is heterosexual people. They are inventing gender identities, or they are saying they are queer, and they are really just a bunch of radicals. And they have come in, they are talking over the real transsexuals. They are talking over the gays, the lesbians, and the bisexuals. And behind them are an army of straight white liberal people who either want to be on the right side of history or do not know what they are championing. They just told, this is a good thing and it's a left cause, and they get right behind it. And that's the problem with us over here. Those of us who are fighting, not at all unified. The biggest weapon that people have right now in fighting this is the gay, lesbian, and real transsexual voice. Because unfortunately, institutions are working under the code of, if you're not part of that community, you do not get a say in this community. You do not get a say in the issues of it. So it unfortunately silences your heterosexual voices, especially when your kids are at stake. That's where we are the secret weapon. But now sit down, folks, because this is a little bit of a black pill. We can't do it all on our own. We can't. And we unfortunately do not get a lot of support. We get lip service. We have people tell us, thank you, you're brave. I don't know where you find the courage to go run towards these bullets. But that's all we get. I mean, it would be nice if people would accompany members of GAG to school board meetings where Antifa is waiting to beat us. It would be nice if we could have that kind of support in real life. But we don't get that. And what's more, unfortunately, there are people on the right who are blaming us for this. And they're saying, you deserve this. So the sad part is we're not unified over here. Whereas they are one big, massive, moving army. And if we want to beat this, we need to change, because so much is at stake. It is our children, people. And I agree with you guys. We are seeing an uprise of homophobia. there is a ton of homophobia from these trans trenders who are pretending to be LGBTQ. They are brutal towards us gays and lesbians. And then furthermore, because of their behavior, there is reactionary behavior from the right. So there's been an increase of homophobia. I mean, like, literally, guys, it just fucking sucks to be gay right now. Gay and lesbian are really trans.
The one thing, I'm sorry, I'm going to jump in between all of you guys real quick. I know Eva and Duchess are going to speak. The one thing that I have taken away from the multiple school boards that I have went to, and I want every single gay and trans person to listen to this. The parents are on our side, and they do not shame us when we go there. They know that we are there to support them. They know that we are there to fight for their kids, and they know that we love their kids as much as they do, and that we will not stop until all this is ended. So do not be afraid to go to your school board and speak up. Do not be afraid to reach out to parents that are there, because these parents support the gay community. They do. They do not support the radical things that are going on right now. So please, anybody who is in the gay community and the trans community, speak up, because these parents will have your back 100%. And we have learned that the last couple of weeks with the parents that we've been going with. So my 2 cents.
I was gonna say before I go to AA, but and Lois, I know that you guys have been waiting. I'm so sorry, you're our guest, but I was gonna say it's amazing to see what's happening up here in Canada, because we have so many. I know this is happening down in the States too. Just exactly what Meg was saying. The parents are standing up. So even up here, you guys, parents are standing up, and they are actually stopping this as well. And they're speaking up, and they're finding each other, because it's true what Ultra was saying is that the left has always been much more organized than we are, but now we're catching up to them, and it's freaking them out. They're actually shitting bricks because we're fighting back. We're standing up, and we're saying, no, this is not going to happen.
I unfortunately disagree. I don't think we are there yet, but I hope Meg is more right than I.
Yeah, that's okay. But I'm in Canada, and we're it's all over the place, and I'm just posting it like crazy in different chats.
You can leave. We'll bring you here.
And you already know that I am right. So there we go.
Exactly. Just kidding. I'm sorry, but no, I agree that we all need to.
I feel like I need to explain this to you.
I feel like we should let Lois and Ava speak. So go ahead, girls.
Let men speak.
Go ahead. You got the floor.
Well, I wanted to go back to what Laura was saying about it being extremely homophobic. We see it, we experience it, and we're also seeing like this push towards transness. So what I'm saying is transition is now the new conversion therapy, especially for gay people. And it's really, really sad. And nobody's challenging this narrative to this extent, or even saying transition is conversion therapy. And it's very frustrating to see when there's voices like us out there that aren't being heard.
100%. Ava, what were you going to say?
I've had so many thoughts throughout all of this conversation. It's hard to contain. But what was I going to say? So I obviously post and write a lot about it. I do think that there's a growing backlash, and that concerns me. Especially that leaked audio today from the teacher in Edmonton that was just horrible. For anybody who doesn't know, there was a teacher who was berating the Muslim students who had skipped out on some pride events, and she was yelling at them about how they were just so awful, and she was getting pretty downright racist, that they shouldn't be in Canada like this. Anyway, all that to talk about, I commented, I said, this is how you make homophobes. This is how you create homophobes. Mm-hmm. And all those kids, all of their parents are going to just be like, okay, we're just done with the gays because, this teacher is yelling at us. So I do worry about a backlash being fueled. But I have to say, sorry?
No, I was going to say post that if you can, and then we'll retweet that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But I do think that there is a thirst. Right now is when we have to strike. I think that there is people who want to hear voices like ours. I mean, the reaction I got to my tweet to Danielle Smith, it's not something I expected. People were really, really happy to see that. I mean, as far as I know, it was one of the most ones under her tweet. Mm-hmm. Look, I get nothing but love on here. I know that people want to see those kinds of voices, but I was just really pleasantly surprised. So I just think that they need to see it. I almost didn't post it because I thought, oh, what good is it? People know there's people like me out there. But you know what? A lot of them don't. so many people were like, wow, I'm so glad to see you say this. Oh my gosh, finally there's some sane gays, to which I kind of get annoyed because I've been at this for 4 years, but people are busy with their lives. They don't know this. So that's why it's important. Like sometimes I feel like a broken record because I'm just saying this stuff, but you're always reaching new people. So I think that's why it's really important to be on here, to have these conversations, to have spaces like this. It's really awesome to be here with you guys. I spend a lot of my time sort of split between like women focused groups and sort of LGBT stuff. And I really love this because like I am a great big homo and it's nice to be among my like-minded friends.
It's wonderful. It's interesting, isn't it? Because ever since GAG Alberta was announced, suddenly everybody's kind of shifted focus, and they're all like, "What?" So like, it just even the other night we had done a space, and it was just even the name has kind of like made people go, "Oh shit!" So it's been fantastic. I see a lot of hands. I also see Michael's got his hand up too. Michael's joined us as well. Who wants to go first?
Can I just wanted to speak on just the experience we had tonight. One of the reasons that we were there was actually because on the 2nd of this month, which was just this past Friday, they were going to be doing pride events throughout Glendale Unified School District. And for the high school portion of the kids, if they were opted out by their parents or chose not to attend school that day, they were being told they were not allowed to walk in their graduations. So this is just a level of idiocy that we're dealing with at this point. It's insane. But these kids are basically being punished for their parents, believing different values than the school board does. And also, if they think differently, they are also being chastised for that. So it's such a big issue for everyone. I know anybody in the Western world that is not dealing with this, I will never believe it because, the UK, you guys in Canada, us here, it's ridiculous. Some of the things that I hear, like you can't post certain things on your Twitter in certain countries or else you're going to have the police knocking at your door and ready to handcuff you for transphobia. Like, what the fuck? It's so weird. But yeah, this is a level of idiocy that we're dealing with, people.
It really is. And I'm expecting myself and Duchess and Ava to get arrested any minute. But Alter, do you want to go first? And then Michael, Lois.
I'm gonna say, well, Duchess, she's kind of safe. She's living on a reservation, so maybe you and Ava should go shack up with her and escape the authorities. That's a level of protection. But speaking on this concept of transing the gay away. Folks, when you look over at the left, they are not entirely a unified thing. And honestly, I believe the true minority is the very, very woke gays and lesbians who are a part of the LGBTQAI++. They're the ones who are on, trans kids, time to put the Ukraine flag up, time to put the BLM fist up. I think they are actually the smallest number of the gay lesbian community. Now, there are a lot of left-wing gays. They support this stuff in public, but once they get behind closed doors, they make their opinions known. And these people believe, this group of gays and lesbians do believe that society is so homophobic that everybody would rather have a trans daughter than a gay son. And they truly do believe that we are under some sort of genocidal attack. They also do not like the TQAI community. They call them the same things we do, trans trenders, trans pretenders, and pointing out the autogynephiles, the perverts who are using trans to be predators. And when I pressure these gays, I'm like, well, it's wrong. That the next generation of gays and lesbians are getting transitioned away. Why are you still supporting this? And I get two answers from them. They are scared of the mob, of the woke, crazy, leftist, LGBTQAI mob. And so that's why they don't feel comfortable saying these opinions. And the other one is they are afraid that, conservatives, Republicans, right-leaning people will take their rights away. So they don't want to support it. They kind of feel trapped. And I do think that is very sad for those not 100% chips in on woke gays, but it's a very complicated battlefield, folks, between the fact that there's so many straight people involved in this fight. And I would say that we gays are sitting in 4 different camps. Those who are blissfully unaware and unawake, which I don't know how you can be, those of us fighting it, and these 2 different, all chips in wokeness and only for gay wokeness. It's really fascinating, but the battle lines are not very clear here at all.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. It's kind of strange, isn't it? I'm going to go to Michael, and then we're going to go to Lois, and then we'll go to Laura, and then we're going to go for final thoughts with Ava and Lois, and then we're going to open up the floor for everybody. So, Michael, please, hello and welcome. How are you?
Hey, hi, hello. So in Canada, is there any sort of pushback legislatively at all for the transing of kids?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Really? Damn.
Yeah,
that's crazy. So today, so it's the Gays Against Groomers 1 year anniversary. And within the past year, we've made a lot of progress from within the community, but we were able to do it because people were actually going and passing laws, and people were fighting this. Up there, it seems like there is no pushback politically whatsoever, even if it's coming from Republicans here. Together, we helped outlaw child mutilation in Nebraska, Missouri, Montana, Kentucky, Utah, Georgia, and finalize it in Florida. That's 7 states. We shut down 5 of these crazy drag shows. And in Missouri, we helped pass a bill to save girls' sports and spaces in schools. But the only reason, and we've had so much success in America, but because there's an organized pushback against it. From what I've seen, from your country, it's just complete, they just kind of taken over. And is are conservatives even doing anything up there? What's the status?
Conservatives, Ava, you can speak on this too. Conservatives are doing nothing because they're basically told don't talk about this subject. It's very taboo to them. The only people speaking up right now are PPC, and the PPC leader has actually come forward and acknowledged us, Gays Against Groomers here, and what we're doing, and he's come forward and he's begun that conversation. So we're at the beginning of where you guys begun all those years that year ago. So we're at the beginning of the fight. Ava, go ahead. I know you can speak. And Duchess, you too.
Oh, I mean, I think you covered it. Yeah, our conservatives are totally captured, both on the federal, level. Over a year ago, we passed the anti-conversion therapy bill, which is just anything but. It's so stupid. The conservatives were all in on it. After the bill was passed, they all hugged and cried and cheered. Provincially, it was a bit disappointing. The premier that we just elected, Danielle Smith, she made a tweet, saying Happy Pride to the entire acronym. And I wasn't surprised, but I was a little bit disappointed. I thought perhaps she would at least stay away from this topic a little bit. So yeah, and PPC is the only party that's trying to sort of bring this into the conversation.
Mm-hmm. And have they gone gung-ho with gender identity policies and self-ID and all that?
Yeah. Here it's crazy.
Because here, you can roll that back, and they are rolling it back here, but it's taking some elbow grease and a right wing kind of fist because the Democrats are going gung-ho. But that's crazy. I mean, I guess now if there's going to be a pushback against it and to get it banned, then you know what to do because we did it here. But if no one wants to talk about it, you have to have the conversation going first.
Exactly.
And,
go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, but from what I've seen, it's just been a total shit show in Canada. That's crazy.
It is. It's at the point where we won't be surprised at any moment if there's a law that will arrest people like Ava and I for speaking out, for wrong speak. We have people already being arrested if they show up at a protest or a drag queen story hour. You get arrested. There's a law here in Calgary specifically. Go ahead, Lois. I know you want to speak on this too.
Well, speaking about being arrested, people were trying to get me arrested for my little video there. And I was like, oh my God. But I'm like, hey, I'm a model citizen and I know the RCMP in my area. So I think I'm fine.
Yeah.
And then speaking about what Michael is saying is because everything's hidden. everything's like behind closed doors. And with Eva and her article, she exposed the Skipping Stone Foundation, where they're providing used packers and binders to little girls, but they're also promoting the sex trade. And that was very shocking when I found that out. And then same with SOGI 123 within the schools in Canada, especially Western Canada. We need a rally. I keep saying we need a rally. We have to rally.
And we do. We do need a rally. We need a big rally. Just like how we had, guys. Like there was a massive rally. Everybody was rallying all the time and all sorts of stuff. And I keep thinking, and I keep shouting out to the people that were in the convoy, okay, where are you now? Like, this is about your kids now. Like, it's not just about a vaccine mandate or anything like that, but, which isn't on this topic at all. But we do need these people to stand with us and be out there. Sorry, go ahead, Ultra.
I was going to say, remember the movie The American Tale? We need a wowie. A what? A wowie. A what? A group of mice protesting. Oh, a rally. That's what I said. A wowie. We need a wowie, people. We need a wowie of a wowie.
Yep. It's so bad here that I have a merry band of little drag queens trying to find out who I am so they can go to my work and get me fired from my job. Hence the avatar, and I'm named after a whiskey. So, yeah.
Even the legislation in the U.S., for instance, in like the child mutilation bills we passed, they also set precedents for passing future laws on the basis of sex, not gender. And that, the red states are paving way to just roll back on everything that gender identity is infested. But do you think it's possible there, or have they like solidified it? Like, I'm not sure how it works. That's why I'm just like kind of curious now.
Sure.
Well, so our problem here is that we have this in all of our human rights codes. It was all passed as amendments, both on the provincial and federal levels. And I think the idea of rolling back existing human rights protections just seems so impossible here in Canada. I hope that we get to a point where we can repeal this stuff. I think the best thing, like the thing that I'm kind of waiting for, is that we just kind of come to our senses, maybe leave the protections, because sure, people should be protected, in housing, education, and everything on the basis of all this stuff. But it just, like for example, the big massive boob teacher in Ontario, remember that big story? The reason the school board couldn't do anything about him is because then he could take them to a human rights tribunal and he would probably win, because his gender identity and gender expression are protected in the Human Rights Code, which even if that makes no sense. But I just feel like it's going to be a massive undertaking to repeal this stuff.
Yeah, that's what the Democrats are doing right now with Title IX. Gender identity protections in Title IX would allow like the big boob, plastic boob teacher situation to be a thing. That's why like we're trying to push back as much as possible on this getting put in schools, because they're also kind of just going full speed ahead. And now DeSantis was in Florida. The way that state did it was that they took gender identity, out of like Title IX protections, and they, in terms of spaces, like gave an option for a third space in federally funded institutions. But I think that if it's already in place, then rolling back on things is how you're gonna have to fix the problem. And in a country where everyone's like kind of, from what I've heard from Canada, where everybody's like afraid of hurting people's feelings, like, that probably like seems like genocidal to them or whatever. Because that's the thing with these people really think they're genocided. And like if they're in a cult, and it's crazy. But
the only genocide is male pattern baldness.
Oh God, but you're absolutely right, Michael. You really are. Lois, go ahead.
Well, speaking of genocide, hi, my name is Lois. I'm sterilized Indian.
Yes, exactly. And that's why we're ignoring her.
And we need a rally, honest to goodness. Hey, I'll bring the fire. I think I'm the only one who can carry fire and not get charged.
That's true.
Thank God, Canada.
Yeah.
And I put your video up in the nest for the audience, folks. Do take a look at that. It's wonderful.
Lois, if you do a rally, I'll be right there with you. We'll
what would the name of this festival be? It definitely has to include the word sterilized in Indian, bitch.
That's probably what it would be called, that, actually. No, and we'll grab Eva and she'll go with us and everything. So that'll be fun. Laura, you've had your hand up forever. I'm so sorry. And then after Laura, we're going to go to closing comments, if that's okay with everybody. And then we're going to take some questions. Thank you, everybody, for being so patient with us. And we really appreciate it. Go ahead, Laura.
Yes, so much to wow, so much to say. Like, everybody was making so many good points that I was just like, oh yes, I need to talk about that too. So wow, as far as like the transitive gay, we have already established that, you know. But I wanted to talk about, like, 10 minutes ago, maybe 15 now at this point, we were talking about all the different gays and LGBT that are, silent or whatever like that. Again, I can't express this enough, guys. I'm in Washington, D.C., okay? For those of you that don't know, it's very, very political here, okay? And I know a lot of LGBT here, fake T's, and I know probably 2 or 3 T's probably, but like they're very like they don't even come out as trans, right? They're just they've been trans for years and years, and they've just blended in now. And the point that I'm trying to make is, right, all these people are just like, I think it was Ultra or Jack, I forget which one it was, but you guys were saying how you have the 4 classes, like you want to ignore it, or you're in La La Land, or you know what's going on, but you just don't want to say it, or you're actually part of that woke crowd, and oh, it's all for one and one for all kind of thing, right? I can tell you right now, there is a lot more people here that is for, that's against what's happening in our community and in society as a whole, but they're too afraid, okay? And I can tell you, speaking as a trans woman, right, there is so many, like, just regular straight people, that I've talked to, and then they're like, oh, you're a trans woman? And I'm like, yes, and this is what I do, blah, blah, blah. And then they're just like, to like say how they really feel once they know how I feel. And like the people that I've talked to, I wish I could say on here, some of you might know the names, but they're political figures, right? But even just the regular people, they're just like, I wish I could say this, but I like, you're amazing. I thought that this would be like a hurtful thing to say to you or something. And I'm like, no, this is like, should be a nonpartisan issue. This is not a left or right issue of saving the children or saving, the future gays. I feel like all the time I need to say this. I don't think people understand the amount of true trans people, and I say true trans because there is such thing as true trans. There isn't this world. There is like a very, very minute amount of us, okay? And what we're seeing now is a complete distortion. Jack, Ultra, Jenna Meg, I'm sorry. I know you've heard me say that, but I just need to reiterate it for everybody here. It's very minute, very small, okay? So I want to like just let everybody know that's in the audience right now. Please, speak up, because there are so many people that actually agree with us. Like, I'm not kidding. I'm shocked sometimes. I'm like, wow, I don't know why I'm so afraid to speak out and say, believe actually. There's so many people. I'm not kidding. So the majority of people, I truly believe, everyday people agree with what we're doing. Okay. That's what I was gonna say, guys. There was other things, but I'm just gonna leave it at that. Jack, Ultra, go ahead, guys. Love you.
Thank you so much, Laura. That was amazing. So we're gonna. I'm just gonna go some final closing thoughts here, real quick, and everybody on the panel can weigh in. Michael, by all means, as well. You too. and then we're going to open up the floor to questions. Thank you all so much for waiting and all that sort of stuff. I do ask though, when we do get to you for your question in your hand, please land your plane within 3 minutes because it's everybody has to work tomorrow. Sorry, I'm kidding. But anyway, Lois, Ava, what are next steps? What can we do to help? And what do you want to do? Like what can we do? I mean, I know we're here for you, and I know Lois, you want to plan a rally, and all right, okay, let's do it. But from here, where can we go?
To hell. I'm just kidding.
Oh my god, I fucking love you.
No, so I don't know, everyone in the chat, like, and the comments, you could share my story, share it far and wide. Like, I'm here for a while, and I'm gonna stay, still keep speaking up and out about this for as long as I'm here. Like, I'm mad as hell. I don't know what else to say.
No, that's amazing. And your voice is important, and your story is important, and what's happening to you is very important, and it's very important that we share this and we have people know this. Eva, go ahead.
I think we're doing exactly what we need to be doing, which is talking and spreading the word and connecting, because I think especially in the context of Canada, a lot of people seem to think that all of these bills and legislations and things were brought in really stealthily. And in a way they were, but it was more just that there was but few people willing to speak for the other side. Like, I don't want to say nobody, because there was people like Megan Murphy, there's people like Jordan Peterson, and they got completely demonized, which is what kept everybody else silent. But, when the politicians looked around for people to talk to, people to advise them about these bills and the wording of these bills, the people who were willing to step forward were people on the other side, people on the, pro-gender affirmation and self-ID and all that nonsense. So I think that if we make our voices heard, they can't ignore us. So we're doing what we have to do.
Totally. Lois, go ahead. And then Ultra.
That reminded me of what was it, Bill C-4, with the conversion therapy bill, when they were asking for people's stories and perspectives on it, they were ignoring the ones that were talking about transition. They completely ignored all of that stuff when they were passing that bill. Like, I remember that. I remember people speaking out, like, I submitted my experience and story, and yet they were ignored, and yet it passed through the House. It's like, what the hell? Even if we what they want, who they want as the person, like tokenism, and they turn a blind eye to everything else.
That's because I'm sure that had something to do with our mutual friend. We'll talk about that one after. Oh my God. Ultra, I'm so sorry. Please, go. Interrupt me. You're a host.
Well, I was just going to ask, before we open the floor, I had one of my followers and one of our regular show viewers ask me, and I really feel this would be something great for you, Jen, Meg, and Michael, but she's wanted to ask, how can we straights meet up with someone to support? I will go anywhere in LA or OC to a school board meeting. I just don't know. And, one of my things is I feel like we are very often the sacrificial, you're saying that you're seeing support, Jen and Meg, and I'm glad to hear that. I just feel like we're just getting lip service or blamed, depending on which side of the conservatives. Now, way more support, but all it is lip service. And I would like to see an army of straight parents behind us saying, yeah, no, these gays know what they're talking about, and you listen to them. Because if we can overwhelm their crazy voices, because like I said, this LGBTQAI++ has an angry mob of straight liberals behind them. We need to match them. So my friend wants to know, how can you support and back up a gay or a lesbian in public? You guys got any advice?
Yeah, for sure. She's in California. I'm the California chapter leader. You can definitely reach out to me anytime at Jen at Gays Against Groomers. And yeah, we'll get back to you and definitely help you wherever you're at if you guys need it. And even if you just need support, we have so many resources about how to, approach this subject with people who maybe disagree with you. Michael and the writing team definitely came up with a lot of great resources and also talking points to be able to fight against this ideology and the people that may be coming at you about it.
Yeah, the other thing that I would add on to there is that any parent within the country, just send any of us a message. I mean, you're even more than welcome to send me an email, meg@gaysagainstrumors.com. I am the co-director of chapters for the organization, and we can get people there or at least give you advice, give you resources, anything that you need to know in order to go in and help combat this within the school system, help combat this within your community. We are here for you. And I want all parents to understand that. Just because we're gay doesn't mean we're evil. We're here to help because we have the same mission, save the kids.
Michael?
Yeah, I didn't get the question.
Ultra.
My friend wants to know how straights can get behind some gays and support us at these things.
Right, but in LA, isn't that your area, Jim?
Like for her specifically, yeah, the LA area, but advice for our listeners, because I think people are starting to get motivated.
Definitely. So advice for the local area, if you're in the LA or Orange County area, Southern California, Mid-California, we can definitely be there for you. My wife is probably going to be the best contact for that since she's in charge of California. But we are more than willing to come out and speak. All it takes is sending us a message. You can even go to Dykes on the Right Instagram or Dykes on the Right on Telegram, and we will be there to be able to answer that DM. And yeah, we are definitely here. Also, parents who are not in California, go to our website, gaysagainstrumors.com/resources. We have tons of resources there. If more parents want to get involved, look into your local school boards. Look into your local parent communities, because I know a few that I have been to, they create their own little coalition within their school district. So that way they can all stand up together. That is the one thing that is a commonality that I'm finding. Other people, moms, our mom army, dad army, Moms for Liberty, First Do No Harm. Those are the major ones that we actually partner with a lot when we go out and we fight against this radicalism. We partner with them to go out and protest. We partner with them whenever we're going to show up. Like tonight, we even had Dad Army come out, and we connected on a few other events that are going to be happening pretty soon. So those are a lot of really great resources to look into. And if you ever need help with that, I'm up here, my wife's up here, Michael's up here. Feel free to reach out and we'll help you get to where you need to go to help leave the kids alone. Just save them. Like, I don't know why that's so hard.
Do not cry. There's no crying. There's no crying in the Coterie.
There's no but crying in baseball. Yeah, I know. Literally, it makes me want to cry because the parental support, honestly, makes us go even harder on this. You know, it helps us just really get that extra edge to really push forward and make sure that we are supporting these parents because they appreciate every single ounce of what we do.
Well, there is so much at risk here. I mean, first off, innocent children. Do we need to say anything more? There are families at risk. Our very society is at risk. All that we as gays and lesbians have worked so hard for, and also the poor trans community being really used as the biggest shield here. So much is at risk here if we do not win this war. And there will be thousands and thousands of broken souls that we may never be able to put back together if we don't. So I get your emotionalness because I feel it too every time I look at this.
So, and speaking for the Canadian parents out there as well, please feel free to reach out to the Canadian chapter of Gays Against Groomers as well. We can get you some resources. And yeah, we need you there a lot because we all know that Canada is going to need a real big pushback. Now,
not only that, not only parents in Canada, anybody who is a part of the LGB or T that is on our side in Canada, please apply for your Providence, because we are actively seeking people to come and help support.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, can I interrupt y'all real quick?
Sure, and then we're going to go to the questions because people are going to start leaving unless we start answering questions. But go ahead.
No worries. Hey guys, yes, please reach out to everyone in Gays Against Groomers, okay? They are not transphobic, because I've been hearing for the past year more and more people saying like Gays Against Groomers is transphobic. They're not transphobic, so please stop saying that. Please reach out to them. They have other trans people on their group, okay? I'm also part of a group with Buck Angel and a few other transsexuals. We're very few, but we're doing some of the same thing as Gays Against Groomers is, but also trying to take back the T. So, in all of this. But yes, please, guys, I'm really just trying to advocate for Gays Against Groomers. For anybody, I was in a space earlier. Jack, I swear, I'm about to get off.
You saw the look on my face from there. That's fucking awesome.
Guys, please go follow Gays Against Groomers. I was in a space earlier this evening, and there was so much hate against Gays Against Groomers. Guys, if anybody's in here that was in that space earlier, please know these people are not transphobic. Please stop thinking that. Anyways, love you guys.
What were they saying?
Yeah, what space was this? Now I'm interested.
It was the one with Chris, the guy with the billboards.
Billboard Chris.
It was Billboard Chris. It was marketed as like a Matt Walsh space.
Yeah.
But I mean,
And what they
Matt
say?
Walsh was actually in it.
Yeah, and what they say?
They were saying that y'all were transphobic, that, y'all are exclusionary of trans, that y'all are trying to take away the T from society. What was the other thing? Trying to dismantle or try to bring back cis hetero. Oh my god, I can't. I can't say this with a straight face. I swear to God, I'm just like, bitches.
You're so further from the truth. Like,
yes,
seriously?
I know. My God. My eyes rolled all the way back. And
Oh my god.
Driving patriarchy,
anyways, yeah, I love y'all.
Love you.
Buzzword.
Damn, we are driving these bastards crazy. I love it.
They hate us. Oh, it's so funny.
God damn. That's crazy.
I used to think dichotomy was like butch versus femme, or femboy versus like, I don't know, ultra leather daddy. But apparently now the dichotomy is like based people who understand reality, and then whatever it is on the left, because I don't even know what to call it at this point.
Oh, did you hear? Sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, I don't know if anybody saw my last speech that was posted. I literally called the LGBTQ alphabet, whatever is after that, because I can never remember because things added.
Mm-hmm.
A religion, and people lost their shit. They lost their shit.
But it practically is.
Wait, that's nothing. I mean, I'm so sorry, you guys, but some twink last night told me that I am no longer welcome at the gay bar. So I'm so sorry. I'm no longer welcome at the gay bar.
Oh my god, I like little Twinkie boy. Who do you expect to top you?
I don't even go to the gay bar. I look like a narc. So like,
hey, they say that I have internalized transphobia all the time here. So
that's okay. I get that too.
Okay.
But
you have internalized transphobia. We have we're straights pretending to be homo.
Me too.
Oh,
yeah, same here.
yeah.
Same here. All the time. I get that all the time.
How does that happen? How does that happen?
I mean, if they just
I don't know. You want to see my like marriage license? You want to see our wedding photos?
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sleeping next to a woman for no reason.
All they have to do is listen. They just have to listen to my voice, and they realize, oh yeah, he's gay.
They think that we're a secret cabal of fascists and TERFs who are going to genocide trans people, and they really believe it. And it's actually kind of scary because the way that they behave in response has like ramifications, and like you see them. Oh, they're crazy.
Yeah.
But
Don't tell them our end game.
And I'm so sorry. I know we're going to go to the hands right away, but if they pass around that stupid picture of our founder one more time, I'm like, seriously, or bring the Wikipedia page. I'm like,
I love that.
Really?
I love
really?
that.
Hello. The Wikipedia page was made by someone named Trans Anarchist, who also made a troll page for Moms for Liberty and got his information from Ali Mandra. Ali Mandra is this like crazy journalist who's been our like self-proclaimed arch nemesis since day one. He's a man who identifies as a lesbian, and that's where they got all their information from. He has this conspiracy that we're like literally working with fascists to genocide male lesbians, and that it's crazy. He called us seminal.
Wait, Michael. There's no such thing, guys. Tranny here. There's no such thing as a male lesbian.
Only a pervert. I know.
Thank you for saying that.
That was actually my fault. I turned him down. I'm so sorry. I know. Sorry, just kidding.
You broke him.
But yeah,
he was
literally,
a beautiful creature, and you broke him.
Literally, our wiki page, and then you have like Scott. What's his face? Scott Wienerface from California, Duchess. Basing his tweets and slander off of that he's saying about us off of our wiki page, which was literally made by Ali Mandra, and claims that we're Nazis, even though there's no proof that we are Nazis at all.
Oh yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's
literally.
crazy.
Michael, you even know this because you were there. We literally sat and lit the menorah and heard the whole song and everything with Jamie and Rachel. But yeah, we're Nazis.
I watched the founder of Gays Against Groomers blow out the Hanukkah birthday candles. Like, don't tell me.
Exactly. Exactly. That's all I'm gonna say.
You guys. And saying the song and everything.
Anyways.
We're going to go to some questions, you guys.
Yeah, we're going to go to some questions. So we're going to start opening up the floor. So thank you, everyone, very much on the panel.
Oh, sorry. Lois, go ahead. You have a question. I'm so sorry. Lois?
If we're opening the floor, I have a question for Laura. Then she knows Buck. Can you get Buck to put me on the PR list?
I'm so sorry, girl. Can you say that again?
Since you know Buck, can you get Buck to put me on the PR list?
Absolutely. No, I will talk to him like after this. I will message him.
Yeah, he was supposed to be in here tonight, so just say, hey, thanks.
Wait.
No, just kidding.
Wait, he didn't show up?
He didn't show up.
Oh my God, guys, that is so bad for transsexual unity. I came in late and Buck didn't even show up. I'm so sorry. Oh my God.
I feel this because it's homophobic at this point. Sorry.
Y'all are shut the fuck up, Jack.
I'm sorry, loves. Okay, you guys, we're going to open up the floor. Thank you, everybody, for waiting. I see everybody's hands. Let's go to our first hand.
Mel was first in queue.
Who's Mel?
Mel writes from the heart.
Mel, where are you?
I'm here.
Where are you? I can't see you.
I don't know.
Oh, I see you. Okay, sorry. There you are. Sorry. Hey, Mel, how's it going?
I am doing okay, but oh my gosh, I'd like to just say what's happening here in New Brunswick, Canada. Mm-hmm. We, Premier Higgs is going to abolish the policy 713. Why? I know, but
okay, but
it was supposed to happen today. But I guess you could say the word on the street. It sounds like Sesame Street, but anyway.
That's okay.
But the word on the street is that all the MLAs are against him, and they are going to do a non-confidence vote. So they're going to kick him out.
I'll reach out to Premier Hicks.
I know. I sent a message to you, Jack, just to with my tweet about I'm panicking because
No, I'll reach out to him. Don't worry.
It
Go on.
is so bad. But I just wanted to say quickly what was going on in New Brunswick. And as for parents, I'm an autistic mom, and this kind of saved my life because I was right on the verge of suicide. I swear to God, I was. Jack knows my story, but basically, I can't believe what our society's come to. And I look down at what's happening in the States, and it gives me hope. So, hearing you all talk, this is amazing to have like-minded people. Like, it's about the kids, guys. It's about the kids. We can't let these people destroy perfectly normal kids. So that's more of a statement than a question. But
yeah,
maybe if I do have my thing I sent to you, Jack, maybe, I don't know, if people want to, if you're in Canada, call or email like some of the MLAs and tell them exactly what you think of policy 713, because every province has got it.
We all have it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's so weird. I just wanted to mention that, like, here in Brunswick, we're fighting hard.
Yeah, and it's a big fight. It's like Michael had asked earlier about it, and it's a huge fight. And if I can become half as strong as Michael and Jen and Meg and Ultra, like, I have some really, really good leaders here and resources to help us fight this. And so it's, and it's really, Gays Against Groomers is really, really, really doing incredibly wonderful things in the USA, and it will come here, and we will win this. We will.
Every time I tweet, I always tweet you guys, because like, you guys are amazing. Like, I love you guys so much. So moms, like I can't tell you how many autistic moms are terrified that we're going to lose our kids, because our kids are autistic, and there's these damn teachers are sucking our babies into this cult.
Mm-hmm. And feel free, Mel. You can. I think everyone on the panel will agree with me. Tag us, place.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, everybody. You're doing a great job. I know your story.
Yeah.
And I'm here for you. All of us are here for you, and all that. You're not alone.
Oh, it's so good to feel that. Like, really. Yeah.
You're not. So don't ever think that. And write whenever you want, whatever you want. It's totally fine. And like Ultra says, tag us in. So, and we're happy to do it. But yes, everybody out there, Canada, write to the MLAs. Let them know. That would be really, really helpful at this point.
What is an MLA? I'm sorry.
Sorry.
The format I had to write in college.
No, an MLA. Go ahead, Eva.
Oh, me? Okay. Well,
you'll say it better than I will. I'm emotional. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's just a member of the Legislative Assembly. It's just on the provincial political level. These are the people who will make our provincial laws. And they're the members of the political party that were elected to their seat in the legislature.
Yes. Thank you. Sorry, I get emotional.
I'm feeling verklempt.
I am. Just when I hear Mel talk, it's like,
I park on a driveway, but I drive on a parkway. Discuss.
There's not many people that get me emotional. Lois is one, Mel's another. So this is freaking double whammy for Jack here. Just like,
sorry, Jack.
All right. We're going to move on to our next question or our next statement. Bonnie. Thank you. Bonnie, go ahead.
Hi, thanks for bringing me up. So I want to try to be super quick because I have multiple things. I have one question and two comments. My first question is, what is MAID, as in LGBT versus MAID?
MAID is medically assisted. Go ahead, Lois. I'm sorry. You should answer this.
It's medical assistance in dying.
Thank you. Okay, so I don't have any commentary on that point because I didn't know what it meant, so I didn't have a chance to think about it. So my first comment is regarding gay men and feminists. So I think that this movement has been destroyed. It was a powerful partnership that kind of was feminists and this term, the FHAG. I won't say the word because it's not my word. But the FHAG and the feminists were sort of like this movement that kind of like changed the world. They came together and they made like a lot of powerful points. They were kind of seen as like intellectuals that were a little insufferable, but they were able to change minds by working together. And now they've kind of been, this partnership has been destroyed. and they're sort of calling each other groomers and TERFs. I think that that's sort of a disservice to humanity. I feel like a lot of TERFs and other people like who are, kind of going against each other, I feel like they should come together again to try to work together to create some clarity on all of the things that we're confused about with this topic. So now to a lighter point. I saw a movie in 2002 called The Hot Chick. This is a really light point. The movie The Hot Chick, I think, is a perfect comedic description of what we have going on with what's going on with trans women right now. I feel like this movie should go viral because it has such terrible reviews from 2002. And that's because it's so, for a person in 2002 to try to conceptualize what is going on in the trans woman's mind, they're viewing it as like this slapstick ridiculousness. But when you look at it as in 2003, you realize people in 2003 are looking at trans women as men pretending to be women. But when you look at this movie from 2002, you realize this is a woman pleading to other people to believe that she's a woman. And it's such a beautiful thing to see her friends all group around her and say, oh my God, we remember you, you're Jessica. And they all like surround her with love because they believe that who she is inside is who she's saying she is. The movie also touches on the fact that it comes with a level of discomfort around the parents. I don't believe Jessica ever actually told her parents that she switched bodies with a man. And if you guys remember the movie, if anybody in the audience remembers, her younger brother was trans and he was being bullied at school and he had a black eye and she loved him and told him to be who he is. I think that movie with Rob Schneider, The Hot Chick in 2002, has aged like Bordeaux. I feel like that movie should go viral, and that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bonnie, for coming up. Lois, go ahead, and then we're going to go to Jen.
Oh, speaking of The Hot Chick, it just hit me like you think you're so cool because you could pee with your penis. That's to me, to all the intact trans women.
Go ahead, Jen.
I'm just confused. Where did the brother, the little kid who was like probably 5 or 6, maybe 7 in the tops, to be trans all of a sudden in that movie?
In the movie, at the very beginning, he was wearing lipstick and he was holding his sister's bra up and he was going, ooh, ooh, and she goes, what are you doing with my bra on? And so it sort of got revealed in the movie that he enjoyed doing these things behind closed doors and she accepted him for it.
So that makes him a gender non-conforming male. That doesn't make him trans.
So that's sort of the reason why this movie is comedy and not sort of like fact or like something that can be taken seriously. I think that it's more so a statement on how 2023 comedy is just coming from a perception of the other side, where it's like we're viewing these things as weird instead of viewing them as whatever you have going on, I still love you.
Yeah, no kid is trans. That's weird.
That's it. We'll move on now. We're going to go to Hammer. Mr. Hammer. Thank you, Bonnie.
Hammer, you got a voice thing on. Can't even understand you, my dude.
No, I think Satan's just coming to swallow the world.
I'm so scared.
Well, where have you been?
Okay, so the problem with the I think the trans thing is it's not going to improve without serious recovery to our mental health facilities, which is, unfortunate to say, but I don't think this is going to get better until we really start helping our mental health facilities to deal with the problems of today's society with mental health. And I also feel like the trans issue has only gotten so far because of social media, especially the social media that targets young kids. I think we need to put a age cap on that, where it needs to be like 18 to 16 for like people to be able to use social media. Because kids shouldn't be using social media anyways at that point, but I think it should be mainly with the 18 to 16-year-olds who should be using social media. There's too many risk factors with that, even on just like base level, just too much. And one other thing I was going to ask you guys, have you guys heard about the kids in college? Retweeted one, but there was a Catholic school in Ottawa, Canada, where a student said there was only two genders, and he was kicked out of school. And then when I was going to ask you guys, did you guys hear about that? Because there's like, apparently there was a few different ones like throughout Canada and the United States of America. Megan Kelly did a whole special on that.
Mm-hmm. I heard about that. Ava Lois, did you guys hear about that too? He had spoken up and
Josh Alexander, right? And so one thing I will actually say about that is he has spoken to both Pierre Poilievre, who is the leader of our Conservative Party, and to Maxime Bernier, who is the leader of the PPC, and both supported him privately, but only Maxime Bernier was willing to support him publicly. Pierre has not said anything. He's gone quiet on him. So, unfortunate.
Sorry, Mel, your hands up. Jen, your hands up.
Yeah, I can't speak to what's going on in Canada, but I do know just from, following Jordan Peterson, you guys are kind of going by the model that we have here in California, where unfortunately, I don't know that the mental health crisis is going to get addressed anytime soon properly, because I'm pretty sure there, just like here, if you go against the one-size-fits-all narrative of quote-unquote gender-affirming care, aka putting Band-Aids over bullet wounds, you're going to lose your license as a tenured teacher, as a professor, as a therapist, as a doctor even, and it's really terrifying. And it's shitty that, people unfortunately do have to put profit over what's right sometimes, because we do live in, capitalism, and that's just the way it goes. But that's the thing. I think that's why you're not seeing more of a pushback. I think that if we removed the taboo of speaking up against this woke ideology, and let people do their jobs again and just be able to agree to disagree, none of this would be happening. But unfortunately, it's a pipeline, and it goes all the way up from, the lowest of the low in society all the way up to the elite of elite in all of our Western societies. This is a disease. This is the virus we should have been worried about while we were being distracted by the one that wasn't even an issue to begin with.
100%. Hammer, did you want to reply?
Well, one other thing I forgot to mention is, unfortunately, and I forgot to mention this, a lot of this stuff is being pushed by communism, or the commies who've invaded and the LGBT and the T. And I don't think we're going to ever get this done until we also remove them from power. And this is not like some kind of conspiracy theory. They got into the colleges in the 70s and started pushing these narratives in the 70s. I forgot to mention that as well.
Oh no, it's always been there, and we can already see all the core tenets of communism creeping in. They've already divided us. They've already pointed out one common enemy that everybody can dehumanize. We're so far down the list, it's very scary at this point, because, and you guys can laugh, and I hate doing comparisons to World War II or the Holocaust, but if you look at the stages of what it took to get there, we're pretty far down there.
No, that's very, very true. I don't know if it was Laura or Meg first and then Bonnie.
It was me.
Okay, Laura, sorry.
No, Jen, actually, everything that you were saying was correct. I was like, oh my God, everything that you're saying right now, I know. We do need to I think this is redundant that we're saying this now, but we need to get rid of the affirmative care for one. We need to go back to psychotherapy. That's a big thing. Not very many people understand or know what that is. It's deep-rooted, tough therapy. I've had it. I had it in my childhood, into adulthood, up until like I would say 4 or 5 years ago, and then I started noticing it was affirmative care, but I didn't have the word for it. I just knew, I'm like, this isn't challenging me. This is just like affirming everything. That being said, this is going from the top to the bottom. This is like the hot. It is not Mr. Hammercat. You're not being conspiratorial or whatever. I know what you're talking about. It did start decades ago. How the way the elites did it was very, very strategic. For those of you that don't know, I'm very open about this more and more now. I'm not hiding behind it. I'm actually in the U.S. Army. And things that we see, the things that from the top to the bottom, is shocking. Okay, I mean, we have an admiral that is, I'm putting my 2 fingers up, trans, and is a lesbian. You know who I'm talking about, Jen and Meg? Just give me a thumbs. Yes, thank you. Okay, this is a disease. This is something that is scary for me, because I serve proudly in the U.S. military, as does some of the politicians. One of them being Tim Kennedy, and what's her name? She's Hawaiian. Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard. I actually met her with Sarah Higdon in February. She's amazing. And we're all up against this. Okay, they come against us all the time. Our leadership. This is coming from the top down. Okay, this is nothing new. But this has been the work. The point I'm trying to make is that this is not gonna. It's not a village. It's an army that's gonna have to take all this down, because we're up against an army. We're up against a legit cabal. Okay, this is dangerous work that we're doing. Okay, so I just want to say that. But yeah, none of what you guys are saying is out of the blue for me. Just, please keep talking about this. That's all.
Sorry, I was tweeting.
Damn you, Jack.
I know, so sorry. My friend White Rabbit sent me something, so I just had to put that out there. White Rabbit, shout out to you. Yeah, you're freaking awesome. Who's up next? Where did the hands go? Was it Mel and then Mermaid?
Mermaid.
Oh no, it's Mel, Boney, and then me.
Oh, okay, all right.
Okay. I just wanted to agree as well. Like, we need to really fix the mental health aspect in New Brunswick here. It is super expensive, and we're a poor province. And to get a diagnosis for, say, something like ADHD or autism, I'm really steeped in the autism because I'm autistic and my kids are, and it's like $5,000, and who has that? You know what I mean? And to go on the Medicare route, it's a 3-year waiting list, and it's just insane. Sorry, I just wanted to make a point about what the last speaker just said, but it went out the window. Oh yes, about how dangerous this is. I actually had a person impersonating a constable to find my information out, and I'm just wondering, have any of you folks had that? Just wondering.
Say it again.
Like, I had a person call me.
Oh, that one that you told me about.
Yeah.
He's pretending to be a cop. No, that's just somebody trying to dox you. Just hang up on them.
But it was so weird because there's no way they could possibly figure out who I am. I'm just like, now I'm worried. Like, should I be so cavalier with trying to
I've been doxxed before, and my my advice based on what happened to me is that usually it results in nothing. They call to try to scare you, but after a while they give up because they realize there's nothing to be done. The last call I received was a few years ago. It was 2 years after the incident, and it was basically just a drunk guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, just in our province here, there's a drag queen who's actually a drag king who's really, really outspoken and angry about the money leaving for them to go into the schools.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I found out that some of my previous assailants are working closely with the straight person.
Mm-hmm.
There's like all these connections, and I'm starting to get like conspiracy theory. I don't know. I'm just getting
No. Listen to Bonnie. Notify the police, of course, and all that. But yeah, no, message me after about that one, and we'll work on that one together.
Oh, Jack, that would be awesome. Actually,
right.
I have to go to bed. So
okay, go. Have a great night. Good night. Thank you for coming. Sorry, everybody. I'm trying to make room for speakers. So if you've spoken, I am moving you down. It was Boney now, Mermaid, and White Rabbit.
Hi. So just an introduction because I was very quick before. I am just a regular straight woman engaged to a straight man. So these concepts that we're talking about, I am in the position to just be learning. I don't want to come off as somebody who's speaking on topics as if I know everything. So my question is really to trans women. I have my best friend who I consider my sister. She's trans, and me and her had a long conversation, and basically I asked her, would you be okay if your children came out trans? And she said no. She said, I wouldn't wish this on anyone because I ultimately wish that I had been born a woman. So my question is, especially to Laura, because you said something very interesting. You said it's not about, we shouldn't be going towards affirmative care. We should be going to therapy. I'm questioning, and I don't want to come off as offensive, of course, but I'm questioning, should we go before therapy and sort of figure out what caused this mix up in the first place? What led to a child being born in the wrong body? Because as I've already stated, I view trans women as women who are literally trapped in a man's body. If I were a woman trapped in a man's body, if I looked in the mirror and saw Rob Schneider, I'd be mortified, and I would go to my mother and I would say, what did you eat when you were pregnant? And tell all other pregnant women not to eat that product. So I am just wondering, do you think that it's appropriate for us to sort of take it a step further to try to I know that you said consider a disease, but when you consider something a disease, I'm a nurse, so we usually try to do not evidence-based practice. I forget the word, whatever. I'm a little bit drunk. So we sort of try to go back and figure out what caused the problem in the first place, preventative measures. So is that offensive? Because I know that at one point in time, we viewed everything as being wrong. We viewed being gay as wrong, being black as wrong. And so would it have been wrong for us to say, hey, let's try to prevent blackness, or let's try to prevent gayness? Is it wrong for us to go back in time that far and say, how can we prevent a child being born trans?
Go ahead, Laura.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's Bonnie or Bonnie?
Bonnie.
Bonnie.
I'm sorry, Bonnie, I kind of hit you down there because I have all these hands coming up. So go ahead.
Okay, so no, great questions, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate your sentiment. I do. So it's not normal. I will say that it's not like there's like I'm a male. I'm a biological male. Okay, I want to put that out there, and there's nothing wrong with saying that. Okay, I don't mind saying that. It doesn't, trigger me because that's the truth. I believe in absolute truths. I do want to put that out there. Okay, there's very few of us. I want to say that too. There's very, 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 very few of us. And I normally can spot us out. And that being said, I do believe that we should talk about the triggers and what really happened to cause us to be like this way. Okay? Because, I mean, there's plenty of trans women. I mean, just like, I don't know if you know who Blair White is. Has now actually become a friend of mine. And I'm very grateful to her. We've talked a lot about this, but she's talked about it on her own channel. And I show the same sentiment. I would love to know why I am the way I am. There's nothing normal really about wanting to change your gender and your name and your body. Like I did the math not that long ago. I spent about $700,000 or $800,000 on my body to be what I look like now, and I've succeeded. Now, do I regret what I did? Absolutely not. I live a prosperous, wealthy, good life. I've worked hard for the life I have. I'm very happy. I'm sorry, nothing's moving. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
I hear you fine.
Yeah, of course we can hear you, love.
Okay. Yep. Just want to make sure. I didn't know if it was frozen. But that being said, that does not negate the fact that, you know what, I would like to still know why I am. Did it happen in the womb? Is it a trauma? I'll just be honest, I wasn't molested or raped or anything like that when I was a kid. I grew up in a very homeschooled house, Christian too, and conservative. So I didn't have any gender ideology. And I'm very curious, and lots of people, especially people that's on here, they're very curious about that. And I am too, okay? I grew up very healthy and very, quote unquote, normal, I guess, for American society, despite the homeschool. I would say that we need to start, encouraging our therapists and our psychologists to start, for one, we need to dismantle the affirmative care. We need to stop all this ASAP. But we need to go back to really looking at what is the cause. Why do you want to do this? Challenge the person, the individual of why do you want to change your life? Okay, because true trans, right? It's a life-changing, life-altering thing. And now I'm not going to go against your sister, your best friend by any means. I actually have a best friend that is like you. She's we call each other sisters. She's my best friend, and I'm sure she would, talk on my behalf just like you have for yours. And just like your sister said, I would not allow my child to transition, not in a million years. And if they were, 25, for instance, and they were wanting to transition, I would fight tooth and nail because there's no way that I'm trans and I have a trans child. I don't buy that. So, I don't know. I think, can you ask or tell me, did I answer everything correctly, or is there something else that I missed? Because I can definitely answer it.
She's not in speaker mode now.
She's not in speaker mode. Okay.
No, but it did sound like you answered it, so it was good.
Okay.
Yeah. Awesome. No, that's totally cool. And where the hell am I going now? And everybody, I'm just gonna remind everybody to just kind of keep your answers to or questions and everything like that to 3 minutes and everything, because we are going to be coming upon the witching hour soon here in Alberta, and I'm pretty sure it's past you guys over there. But anyway, please go ahead. Was it mermaid or wrist first and then white rabbit? I believe it was wrist first and then mermaid and then white rabbit. Go ahead, wrist.
I was giving mermaid a second because it's definitely mermaid first, but I will.
Oh, is it? Oh, I'm sorry, mermaid. Okay, sorry.
No, go ahead. I can wait. Go ahead.
Amazing. Okay. The witching hour. So you speak of this hour. What is that? I'm half asleep right now. No, actually, this conversation is so important. Like many are
when it's you guys. But of course, Jack had to put Maid up there, and I can't remember now who asked what that was, but I must now speak. So I'll take like another minute maybe. And so Maid. Maid is an interesting one because it's not like wildly talked about, but back in February they were talking more about it than within the last few years. So it started out in 2016, and it started out small. And what ended up happening was in February of this year, they were talking about expanding it in either March of this year or March of 2024. And so they decided to expand it to mental illness in 2024. They needed a little bit more time. They laughed in the committee meeting where they discussed that. And they said, we are moving ahead because we feel that we will be compelled by the courts to move forward. But also in that committee meeting, they discussed that to date, no court has ruled that to deny access to MAID, medical assistance in dying, on grounds of mental of human rights in Canada. In fact, they are working off the original C7 charter statement dated October 21st, 2020. It says that the MAID in relation to those suffering exclusively from mental illness is not a charter right. So basically my research and listening to the government, the boring, hateful meetings that they have where they discuss what they are going to do with those that have mental illness. Things that are a little bit more difficult to stomach is that they're going to expand it using a document that recommends the opposite with no general consensus across the medical, the psychological field. And they're going to do it because they think that the courts might act in a way that they've never acted before. And so in Canada, we kind of sit silent. And it's maybe another thing maybe we should be writing letters on. But I just wanted to fill in some holes for anybody that may not know what's happening there. They plan to kill a lot more. Cull is how I view it. And probably like 20 seconds, I'm just going to give you a stat here. So in 2021, over 10,000 people were euthanized that year. And they provided those statistics originally around the 900 mark. In January 2022, those were reported. So I ask, it's June right now. Where the hell are last year's statistics? Because they still haven't shown. And over the overall deaths from the program running is 2016 to 2021. They euthanized 31,664 people. So that was like a 30-something% increase. It's a lot. It's like a waterfall, and I'll leave it there because it's a lot. But you had to go and put it up there. So
do you know why that's up there though, Riz? Do you know why that's up there? No. Let me tell you. Do you know who's it? You know our guest in our room tonight, right?
Yes, I was listening earlier. No, I do.
All right. Okay.
But it's like it's the
no problem.
The rule out, right?
Yeah.
No, Duchess, I think has she been in one of your spaces before? Because I think I've seen before.
Yes. Duchess has been here. Yep. No, that's so. Well, thank you very, very much for coming up, hon. We appreciate it. We do. You guys, we have quite a few hands up. I know one of our co-hosts is going to leave right away because he's been up for 25 hours. And I know that Meg has her hand up. We're going to go to Mermaid after Meg, and then we're going to go to White Rabbit real quick, and then the Norvax.
it's only 7:15 p.m. my time, so whoever has to leave right away, go first, because you know what? It's really early here, so.
That would be me.
Let me just say just a couple of things, because, okay, I have a potty mouth, number one, but hang on. I have already bought a condo in hell, and like I'll be renting out rooms, so y'all can join me down there. So,
Lovely view of the river Styx.
Yes, I mean it's actually overlooking the Ring of Fire, like the Lake of Fire, so prime viewing. And I really appreciate the sense of humor because I have a very warped sense of humor. But to the panel, I say kudos for your sense of humor.
Sweetie, you are driving the short bus to hell, and I know I've got shotgun.
I know, right? Like, we're gonna have more fun down there than any place else. Like, come join the party. So I am a 100% heterosexual woman. Like, I got a V, and it happens to be platinum. But no, I'm fucking with you. Anyway, here's the thing. The kids' brains are not developed, your brain is not developed until you're between 23 and 25. What is the rush? What? It just is beyond me. I had this whole debate with somebody. They're like, oh, hormone blockers, they can be reversed. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Yeah, it can be reversed, but it does damage. You have a female body, you're not letting the normal hormones go through. I mean, you guys already know this. And then you end up and you pump it with testosterone. Do you think there's going to be no negative side effects? Same vice versa. But okay, this is not meant to be offensive at all. If there's any trans men in here, wouldn't you rather strap on a big 10-inch than, instead of mutilating your genitals?
I don't know how to answer that.
I don't know how to answer that.
I don't think anyone knows how to answer that.
That's okay. Come on. It's a thought,
It's a fun thought. It's a very fun thought.
Well, I mean, do you want a fun size or do you want a big 10-inch?
I mean, you have a couple of lesbians in here that would rather strap on a 10-incher.
Or, organic, there's other digits.
I mean, I could just call someone, but anyway.
No, that was
I don't hardly have to log off. But also have to log off.
Okay, no problem. Okay, well, that's awesome. Thank you, Mermaid. We appreciate that. We're going to go to White Rabbit. You've been waiting ever so patiently. And then we're going to go to Norvax because Norvax, I know you. You're pretty awesome. Harley's going to go, though. He's going to say goodbye.
I'm going to go in just a second. I was going to hold on for White Rabbit, and then I'm going to go to bed, folks. I'm sorry. I'm coming up on 26 hours up right now, so I just want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. I really want to thank our special guests, Ava and Lois. You were wonderful, and I hope that everyone has a fantastic evening. Please do not give up the fight.
Is my mic on? Yes, it is. Okay, White Rabbit, go ahead.
I feel all uncomfortable now after Mermaid.
You feel uncomfortable.
I'm sure 10 inches would make me feel uncomfortable, that's for sure. Even 1 inch. I roll that way.
You'd fall in love.
That wasn't my intention, but I hope you're squirming in your seat right now. Okay, that was not my intention.
That was hilarious, Mermaid. That was awesome.
That's what she said. Anyways.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No.
Okay, never mind.
So I'll start off. I know I love how we all have to say that we're straight or not. I am a married man with 2 wonderful children. But I've been excuse me. What's the word for it? I've been an ally of LGB for vast majority of my life. I had a very long conversation with Jack the other day about it, actually. So regardless, I'm very much against what's going on in schools and everything else right now. And one of the things I wanted to bring up, and the reason I came up was actually you were talking a bit about the U.S. versus Canada, and I think what a lot of people don't understand is how much more is actually in our systems in Canada here than what is actually in the U.S. It's part of our curriculum. I didn't realize this, and my son is in grade 6, and I just put a tweet a few minutes ago. My son's in grade 6. I just got the teachers are obligated to send us what the curriculum is going to be for their sex education, and my son just turned 12. He's hit puberty and all the other stuff. He's got questions, so as a responsible parent, I'm answering all those questions, as uncomfortable as it may feel. Everything else, just but I've also been trying to teach him values in terms of how to act when it comes to the opposite sex and everything else. He's not gay in any way. He's not trans in any way, and I really have no fears there. But what does scare me is that he is very malleable. He's very caring, very kind, and very open to other people's opinion. So the sex ed that's actually in the schools right now, it's in 4 blocks, and the last 2 blocks basically focus around cultural issues, mainly regarding, I'm not sure how racism somehow comes into it, but it's made from what I read about it, it's basically made to make them understand that their sexuality can make them racist. And then it goes into a whole other preamble of the LGBTQIA plus everything else, and how if they're not absolutely accepting of everything in there, then they're a bigot. So me as a parent, I pulled, he's not going. Now, you can opt out of this, but you have to send it into the school board and everything else to opt out. He's just not going. And I'm not giving them an explanation on that. And he doesn't need to give them one either. I think the thing, sorry about the cough, it's being jammed in their faces every single day, all the time. Enough to the point that it's made to make them think differently. And this is something that as parents we have to be very cognizant of. My parents never had to, just basically I learned what I needed to from Playboy and a couple of conversations with my dad, and I was good to go. And typically it was just conversations around, the schoolyard and all that kind of stuff. But now it's been made such a fact of throwing this stuff in their faces all the time that we have to kind of walk on tippy toes to make sure that we're giving them the right values and morals. I think if my son turned out to be gay, I could care less. I still love him exactly the same. If it was a trans thing, then we would definitely be delving a lot further into that to try and figure out where this came from, and if this is the feelings and everything else, we would not be transitioning. This is something that he would have to make the decision as an adult versus being a child. But we would definitely be delving into why the thought was put into his head, or where that came from. Was it from within or was it from without? And most of what they seem to be getting right now is from without. We have to be really careful about that. I just wanted to throw that out there. Sorry, I just want to kind of put it into context that this is literally in our curriculum right now. Parents should be concerned. And actually, New Brunswick is making changes. This is a province in Canada, so for those of you that are in the US, it's like a state. 30%, almost 50% of the parents, when they found out about the sex ed curriculum, the other day pulled their kids out of class and refused to let them back until changes were made. And now they're actually revisiting things and making changes within the province. This is something that parents need to be doing right across the board, I think, because it's the only way that we can actually force change. Sorry, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, White Rabbit. We really appreciate you.
Always, buddy. Thank you for being an ally in our corner. And, I've seen you stick up for us more than once.
Yeah.
So really do appreciate that. And with that, everyone, good night here from your big old biker daddy. Just love you all. And everybody just keep up. All right. Y'all have a wonderful night. Thank you.
Good night, brother. We got to do a duet again soon, by the way.
Absolutely. You got that beautiful, nice, soft, tender voice, and I've got this deep bass. We can definitely do a duet, my dude.
Yes, unless you run into a deer. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much. Like, thank you.
Yeah. I almost hit a deer on the way home tonight on my motorcycle, but everything's fine. The deer lived.
Something about a fender, a bicycle. It was crazy.
With that, good night, everyone.